Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie. Sports 56 Middays is presented by FedEx. FedEx, helping small businesses simplify e-commerce.
And Virginia with the all-time turnaround title.
We, the North, are now we, the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
3-2. Washington Nationals are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Let the good times roll. LSU sits on the throne of college football.
And this one is over. Kansas City has won their first Super Bowl in 50 years.
Now, here are your hosts for Sports 56 Middays, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Out in the countryside, lay back and smell the sun, warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good friends.
Welcome in, everybody, and happy Friday to you as we bring you the Friday edition of Sports 56 Middays. I hope you enjoyed the snow last night. It's going to be 67 degrees on Sunday, so a little bit every once in a while never hurt anybody, and I hope you certainly enjoyed seeing the white stuff fall from the skies. We got a lot to get into on this Friday edition of Middays. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Gabe Kuhn. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, it's located at 2120 Whitten Road. That's just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor. That's FedEx. FedEx can help provide global access for your business. Learn more at FedEx.com/e-commerce. Also, the first hour of the program is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers, your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters, 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Elmo in East Memphis. The website, GaddisJewelers.com. You can call them at 901-767-9648. On the show today, of course, plenty of Grizzlies talk. The trade day is over. In fact, yesterday, we were bringing you up-to-the-minute information on the Grizzlies' deal with Miami. And lo and behold, we wrapped up at 1, and at about 1:15, it was announced that there was another part to that trade with Gorgui Dieng coming from Minnesota to the Grizzlies for James Johnson. We'll discuss that. We'll get Eli's thoughts, since he was off yesterday, on the latest moves by the Grizzlies front office. Grizzlies in action tonight as they will take on the 76ers on the road. We'll talk Grizzlies with Joe Mullinax at 10:25, the site manager of SB Nation's Grizzly Bear Blues. Plenty of Memphis Tigers basketball talk. Cody Toppard will join us, assistant coach. Tigers back in action tomorrow at 3 as they host USF. Also, later in the show at noon, it'll be the Tiger Basketball Report with Matt Dillon. In between Cody and Matt, Travis Haddock will join us, our good friend from the National Hoop Fest and Haddock Sports, and a big announcement that he will make. And then we have 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. That'll be coming up in hour 3. Of course, we're very interactive. We love to hear from you. If you just want to kick back and listen, that's perfect as well. But if you want to be a part of the show, we'll take some calls at 360-8255 a little bit later on in the program. First Bank phone lines, First Bank text line, always open at 67129. You can hit us up on Twitter at Eli560, at Greg_Gaston. And, of course, message us at Sports56WHPQ on Facebook, as I said, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, and YouTube. All right, as you were calling a game yesterday morning in South Haven, the news was coming in bits and pieces about the Grizzlies trade. And like I said, when we wrapped up at 1 o'clock, Gabe and I, there was another part to the trade. So the result is the Grizzlies are getting, in the trade with Minnesota and with Miami, Justice Winslow, the number 10 overall pick in the 2015 draft. They are getting Gorgui Dieng from Minnesota. They are getting Dion Waiters, but hold the phone on that. And then in another trade that happened while we were on the air, they picked up Jordan Bell from Houston for Bruno Caboclo, and they also exchanged second-round picks. Giving up Andre Iguodala, we miss him, we love him. Solomon Hill, Jay Crowder, and Bruno Caboclo, and then, of course, James Johnson, who goes to Minnesota. Eli Savoie, this trade has been panned by a lot of national people. ESPN gave out its grades. They gave the Heat an A. They gave the Grizzlies a D. What say you?
I like it. I like it for the Grizzlies because I think, when coming out of college, I was a gigantic Justice Winslow fan. He was one of the guys in that draft class that I liked more than anybody. Now, the question of his NBA career has been, can he stay healthy? Because he has had a lot of injury issues, and he comes injured with a back issue. So that is the big question mark there. But I think if he can stay healthy, I think Justice Winslow can be a really good player because he is very versatile in what he can do defensively. Offensively, he's a bigger guy, but he can play kind of that point forward for you. Good distributor, but he killed the Grizzlies in that season opener this year where they just didn't have anybody big enough to guard him, playing kind of that point position. So there's a lot of things I like about him. Obviously, the injuries are the big question mark there. Giving up what they gave up, I'm not going to miss any of those guys. Yes, Jay Crowder, Solomon Hill were fine in the locker room, all of that stuff, but they're not part of your future, and really, it doesn't matter to me to give them up. And then taking back some bad contracts that include next year. The Grizzlies, it's a bad free agent class to begin with. So what were the Grizzlies really going to do this offseason with that cap space? The only thing that you could have done is had another offseason where you could play broker, basically like they did last offseason, which worked out well. You have cap space, teams needing to unload guys and unload money can use you as the bank. That's how the Iguodala stuff happened. That's how the trade with Phoenix happened. You're just taking in other people's cap room or money so that they could create cap space to do things. But how many teams are going to be wanting to clear cap space this offseason for a weak free agent class? So it really, I don't know that cap space this offseason was going to be that big of a deal. So taking on those bad contracts for one extra year, using up your cap space for this offseason, that doesn't bother me too much either. I think to me, it's all worth it to take a look at Justice Winslow, see if he can stay healthy. And if he does, I think you could have another nice piece for the future that is still extremely young, like the rest of your team.
What also needs to be said, and yesterday we discussed also the signing of Dillon Brooks, which seemed to come out of nowhere, but I think most people are happy with that. He has earned his right to be compensated by the way he plays. And who knows if somebody would have offered him in the offseason some astronomical amount of money, and then it would be a tougher decision for the Grizzlies to try to match. They got their guy. They know he's a scorer. And with that said, even bringing on these bad contracts, and they don't have a lot of wiggle room, they still have enough room, what I've read, to be able to ink DeAnthony Melton, because I assume DeAnthony Melton is a part of their future, and the possibility of doing it with Josh Jackson, who, again, they turned down the chance to make him a restricted free agent, right? He's now an unrestricted free agent. But they could go that route as well. They still have enough wiggle room to be able to do that.
Well, it actually makes it more likely now, I guess, that Jackson, because now they're without cap space. They're more likely to be signing their own guys because they can do that. That doesn't matter as far as the cap. They're not close enough to the luxury tax where it's going to matter. So makes it more likely that you would just focus on your own guys because you're not going to be able to go out and get other guys because you don't have the cap space to do that. So it probably increases the odds that they might actually do something down the line with Josh Jackson. Doesn't mean that they will. I would still guess they probably don't, but I think it increases the odds that you bring Josh Jackson back.
Yeah, it'll put him likely over the cap, but not certainly near the luxury tax. So you're not paying a penalty because of that. Now, as far as Dion Waiters is concerned, and as soon as I heard that he was going to be a part of this trade, and I said yesterday, Gabe and I were talking about it, I go, there's no way. There's no way he's going to be a part of this team. They're going to buy him out, or they're just going to make that kind of same deal they did with Andre Iguodala where they mutually agree to stay away. And then Chris Haynes reported last night from Yahoo Sports, the Grizzlies do not plan to keep guard Dion Waiters. It'll either be a buyout or a release. It's on the horizon, according to his sources. Nothing official from the organization. But I would imagine with the problems that he has had, they're not looking to try to resurrect that guy at the expense of the chemistry and everything that we have right now with this Grizzlies team. Who knows? He could be a model citizen, new lease on life, and be great. But I don't think they're willing to take that chance. At least that's what I feel, and that's what Haynes is reporting.
No, you can't have Deion Waiters. You certainly can't have Deion Waiters around Josh Jackson.
First thing I thought of.
If you feel Josh Jackson is possibly any part of your future, you don't want Deion Waiters around him. I mean, Deion Waiters is a problem, and there's no use for him here. You're not gonna take minutes away from any of these young guys for Deion Waiters. And he serves no purpose. Like that is, you do not want him anywhere near this team. You're talking about the Dylan Brooks contract. I was actually a little surprised that Dylan would be willing to do that at this point, but I think that's a very fair contract from the Grizzlies' perspective. So
absolutely,
to get that done now, because I thought with the fact that it is a little bit of a weaker free agent class, that Dylan may want to get to that point and see what's out there and try and get a bigger deal. So I think that works out well for the Grizzlies that they were able to get that done with Brooks.
Well, there's the old saying, bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. So it's a lot of money for Dylan Brooks, who was a second-round pick. He likes where they're going. He likes the direction. He likes the teammates he's playing with. He likes the city. It's really good money. Maybe there's more money on the horizon if he wanted to go ahead and gamble on himself. But I think right now he's proven it. And so why not just jump at this opportunity? So I think it's a great move for the Grizzlies, but I also think it's a really good move for Dylan Brooks. So in the end, like I said, the national pundits are kind of ripping the Grizzlies. Now, they're looking at Miami and going, yeah, you got Andre Iguodala, and we're giving you an A, and he could be the guy that tips the scales in your favor in the East. Yes, but the Grizzlies were not going to have Andre Iguodala. So what they were able to do was turn that trade with Golden State, which has already netted them a first-round pick, into now an opportunity to see what Justice Winslow has. So, of course, if you're just judging on Andre Iguodala versus what you got in return, the other team's going to win on the surface, but you're winning because you're also getting more stuff other than just the first-round pick. Now, there are some people that say, why didn't they get a draft pick out of this thing? Well, they didn't. What they were able to get was a guy who was a first-round pick. So, like they are with Josh Jackson taking a chance with a guy who was a lottery pick, they're also doing so with Justice Winslow, who doesn't come with the baggage that Jackson comes with, but he does come with the injury, as you mentioned. This back injury is not a serious back injury, but it has kept him out since December. It's a bone bruise. He's only played in 11 games. When he's played, he's been productive. He's been a pretty productive team in his years with the Miami Heat. So Winslow, as you said, a very versatile player, can play a number of positions. So here's what you're looking at. Gorgui Dieng, who worked really well with Tyus Jones, actually, in Minnesota, kind of as a backup there, is going to come in and be your backup five. He's going to spell Valanciunas. Now, Jordan Bell, I think, is the guy that's really going to struggle for minutes. I don't see how he gets his minutes. Obviously, Deion Waiters does not look like he'll be a part of it. They traded Johnson to get Gorgui Dieng, and then they're going to wait and be very patient on Justice Winslow. What do they lose? They lose two veteran players, one a starter in Jay Crowder, but you can argue, and the numbers would back it up, that with Kyle Anderson, first of all, they're undefeated with Kyle Anderson as a starter, and that they don't really lose much, if they lose anything, with Kyle Anderson starting as opposed to the Jay Crowder deal. Jay Crowder was a solid presence in the locker room, as was Solomon Hill. Both guys were so professional about it. The posts they made on social media, all the players from the Grizzlies responding to them. It was just a mutual, terrific relationship. But those guys understood that there was a possibility they could be traded, and they were. Bruno Caboclo, again, he was an odd man out. He wasn't going to be a part of the equation. And Iguodala was not going to be a part of the equation. So I don't see how ESPN grades this thing a D. Because if Justice Winslow can be the player that we expect him to be coming out of college, and he has shown those signs, that is a win for the Grizzlies moving forward with this next-gen roster. So I like it.
The thing is, I mean, for a lot of teams around the NBA, I can see why this would be a negative, because you would say that cap space is more valuable than a look at Justice Winslow.
Not this offseason.
But for the Grizzlies, it's just not. I mean, the Grizzlies aren't going to be able to. They can't go sign 2 max players because max players aren't going to sign here. So
right.
It's for them. You're better off getting the look at Justice Winslow. Hopefully he can get healthy. I mean, last year, again, he only played 66 games last year. He's only his rookie year he played 78. And he played 18, then he played 68, 66. He's been hurt most of this year. But last year in 66 games, 12.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, over a steal a game, shot 37% from three-point range. I mean, he's a guy who can just kind of do a little bit of everything and has good size to, on the defensive end, he can guard a lot of different positions. To me, that was well worth that cap space to try and take a look at him and see, again, if he can get healthy. Hopefully he can. If not, you're committed to him for one more year anyway, and then you can get out of it and be done with him. So who cares?
And the Waiters contract expires after next season. Grayson Allen, who is right now on the shelf with an injury, the Duke connection, Tyus Jones being another Dookie. Now you bring in a guy like Justice Winslow. So Mike Krzyzewski had to come out and say something about it. These Dookies assembled in Memphis. And while he did so, he kind of dropped the bomb on Grayson Allen, who he said was out for the year. The Grizzlies have not said anything like that, just said that he's out indefinitely. I don't know if the expectations were by people out there that he was going to come back. And Grayson Allen is a role player, but was in the rotation, and I think has shown some signs that he could be a really good, valuable backup for the Grizzlies moving forward. I think he is part of the future. But it was interesting to hear Coach K kind of drop a Woj bomb, a K bomb.
Somebody texts in the first bank text line and says people don't think Winslow will ever play much. That's why Miami dumped him. Yeah, again, I mean Miami was in a situation where they are trying to win this year. They think they have a chance right now in the Eastern Conference. They feel like they could put together. So they don't have the patience of okay, let's see if Justice Winslow can be healthy, what he's going to give us this year. They're like, hey, here's a chance to get a couple of veteran guys who can help us win right now. And that's what we're trying to do. So from Miami's perspective, I think it's fantastic. I think it works out extremely well for them. And the same, I think it has the potential to be a win-win. I think it will be a win for Miami. I don't know if it's going to win them the East, but I think it makes them better in the present, which is what they're looking for. For the Grizzlies, it gives them an opportunity to take a look at another young guy and a possible another piece for the future. So to me, it ends up being a deal that works out for both sides.
Well, from what I've read from the national pundits and why it's so negative, at least their evaluation of this trade, is that they feel that the Grizzlies hurt themselves in the present. They're a team that's currently in the playoffs right now in the 8th spot, and they hurt themselves because they trade away a starter and they bring in a guy who knows if you'll play any this year. So in the present, they feel they hurt the Grizzlies. This trade hurt the Grizzlies. And then they think in the future it hurt the Grizzlies because of one, and we've already talked about it, the offseason, the cap money that they would have available, which they don't have available now, but we already talked about it being a weak free agency field. And then moving forward, still gambling on Justice Winslow. The last big gamble that the Grizzlies organization made was on Chandler Parsons, and we know what happened there. But I don't think we got a similar situation.
Well, it's not even close to the gamble. That was $94 million. This is 1 year.
Plus, the injury is not as serious as what Parsons had coming in, at least not what we've heard and what we've read about. I think it's worth the gamble. But I think in the present, I don't think they've hurt themselves. Again, they're winning basketball games because of John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. and Jonas Valanciunas. And look, I'm not saying Jay Crowder and Solomon Hill didn't chip in, and Jay from a starting position. But we've already seen with Anderson as a starter, they're just fine. I don't think they lose that much firepower from a present situation. And from the future, again, I'm willing to take a chance with a guy who was the number 10 overall pick in the draft in 2015.
Yeah, the idea that Jay Crowder and Solomon Hill made this team a lot better is ridiculous. It's just there's no evidence of that. You can't find anything that would just tell you, like, oh, look what happened when these guys were on the floor. No, there's no evidence that they made this team that much better.
They were a calming influence in the locker room. The players loved playing with them. They were true professionals, and they helped out. But I don't think it was a difference maker where if they didn't have Solomon Hill and Jay Crowder, they'd have 7 wins or 10 wins as opposed to right now having 26 wins.
That is completely overblown if you think those two guys really made that big of a difference on this year's team.
First hour of Middays brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Elmo. Phone number is 901-767-9648. The website's gaddisjewelers.com. Valentine's Day is coming up a week from today. A week from today, ladies and gentlemen. And if you want to do something for your significant other, how about jewelry? How about a nice ring? How about a nice necklace? How about something beautiful? And you can get that at James Gaddis Jewelers, your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters. They got some great deals going on right now for Valentine's Day. They've been serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners for 23 years. And, guys, if you're thinking about that engagement ring this year, it's not the easiest thing to do to pick out the right ring. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. And James, Lyndon, all the rest of the pros at James Gaddis Jewelers, they will answer all the questions you have. They'll steer you in the right direction to pick out that perfect ring. James is a master jeweler, a certified appraiser, diamondologist, and graded by the Gemologist Institute of America. They are full-service jewelers with 2 bench jewelers ready to serve you every day. All their diamonds are independently graded and certified. And they know there's a lot of competition out there, so they have a price point to suit everyone's budget. James is a local guy, Christian Brothers High School graduate, and a Memphian through and through. So Valentine's Day, think jewelry, think James Gaddis Jewelers. And for your wedding, engagement, and anniversary rings and other fine jewelry, let James be your choice. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar, between Mendenhall and St. Elmo, in the heart of East Memphis. 901-767-9648. Stop by. Tell them you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays, or go to their website for more information. Find out more about their the jewelry and what they're about. GaddisJewelers.com. That's GaddisJewelers.com. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation on the Grizzlies with Joe Mullinax, the site manager of SB Nation's Grizzly Bear Blues. Just underway on a Friday. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 96.1 FM, or 87.7 FM.
Farmers Insurance knows that when you're in the car and that song comes on, yes, that's the one, you have no choice but to pull out your imaginary drumsticks and smash those cymbals and stomp on that kick pedal, which unfortunately is the accelerator pedal. And we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent who knows a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at MemphisFarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. It is that time of year where the weather is unpredictable, and given the recent storms, it's a good time to discuss insurance claims. So here's a few things you should know. Always hire a local contractor, because if you have a problem with your roof down the road, you want to be able to find him. Never allow anyone to pressure you into signing a contingency contract. They're used as sales tools, making you feel committed, and the truth is, those contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Be careful of door-knocking salesmen. Some are reputable, but many are not. They canvass the neighborhood and tell everyone to file a claim, working their percentages and not caring if you file a claim even when they know the likelihood of it being approved is low. Some will even damage your roof, hoping to convince the adjuster it's storm damage. That's fraud, and contractors have gone to jail for that. So do your research and know who you're hiring. Five-Ash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. 10:27. Sun is shining after a night of a little snow, a little sleet. It's going to be 67 degrees in Memphis on Sunday.
Good.
The weather changes like we change our underwear in the mornings.
Not very often?
Not very often. Every once in a blue moon. No.
About once a month.
That's gross.
Weather changes about once a month, apparently.
Well, listen, in climbing we trust, right? Why would we back down from this front office after all the great moves they made? That's why I think we're both very optimistic about this trade, but there are a number of national pundits, if you will, that have panned the moves that the Grizzlies have made. I know over at Grizzly Bear Blues, they have written a lot about the Grizzlies and the draft, pre-draft, or trade deadline, not draft, trade deadline, and then post-trade deadline after the moves that were made. And here to talk about it is our good buddy Joe Mullinax, the site manager of SB Nation's Grizzly Bear Blues. They do an outstanding job. You can follow Joe on Twitter at Joe Mullinax, and he joins us now on Middays. Hello, Joe.
Hey, guys. How are y'all doing?
Man, we're doing fantastic. You know, I was a little surprised, I'll be honest with you, to read about some of the grades that the Grizzlies have received for the trades they made. Obviously, we won't know. The proof won't be in the pudding until down the road. But, Joe, what do you think about the moves that were made?
I think they were excellent. I definitely don't think they were home runs. A home run would have been reserved for a first-round pick being in the fold in addition to what Memphis got in terms of Justice Winslow, Dion Waiters, it sounds like they're going to buy out, and, Gorgui Dieng is essentially what it became in that three-team deal. I mean, Dieng is pretty expensive for a fourth big on your roster, but at the same time, I mean, Dieng, I believe, makes more money than Jonas Valanciunas does. But at the same time, money is not really an object at this point because so many of your best players are on rookie contracts, or you just re-signed Dylan Brooks to a team-friendly deal that obviously is a big raise for Dylan as well. So the next couple of years, money isn't really an object until you start having to worry about maxing out Jaren Jackson Jr. and then John Morant. And those maxes, obviously, on their first non-rookie contracts look different than, say, a max contract for James Harden would or LeBron James. I'm shocked in large part because from what I've read, whether it's ESPN or Bleacher Report or these other places that maybe aren't so high on the trade for the Grizzlies, my interpretation of it is it's twofold. One, they think that Jay Crowder is better than Jay Crowder actually is.
Yeah.
And two, they think for some reason that Memphis is going to struggle without having the cap space this summer. Everybody was so excited, it seemed, about Memphis having all of this money. I have to remind people, without adjusting for hindsight, the greatest free agent signing in the history of the Memphis Grizzlies is Chandler Parsons. So if you're having to overpay for a top 10 to 15 guy to even consider you, are you really wasting your money? This team was always going to be built via the draft and via trades, and I think this is the trade version of that. They clearly value Justice Winslow. I value Justice Winslow. I think if he's healthy, he is going to be a starter on this team at the very least for the years to come, at least the next 2 years, because the Grizzlies, again, it's a team-friendly deal. He's on a $13 million per year deal next year, and then the season following that, it's a complete team option. So between buying out Waiters, Gorgui Dieng, and Winslow, even if this thing goes completely haywire, Memphis could have all the cap space that they were going to have this summer in the summer of 2021 with just 3 different expiring contracts. It's just kicking the can down the road, and you're betting on a guy in Winslow who has had some health issues in his career, but when he's been on the court and when he's been healthy, he has had the look of exactly the type of player that the Grizzlies need in terms of being a facilitating wing that can defend multiple positions. He's a high-volume three-point shooter and scorer, and he actually was good at it when healthy, unlike Jay Crowder this year, who, again, I think that you can make an argument for Jay Crowder's value as a veteran leader, same thing with Solomon Hill, but to try to argue for Jay Crowder as a basketball option, like some of these national outlets have done the past day or so, makes me think that you haven't watched Memphis Grizzlies basketball very much lately.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we were just talking about like the idea that Jay Crowder and Solomon Hill like made this team substantially better in the present isn't true. And as you said, the cap space of the offseason, other than being able to be a facilitator in some other trades if teams needed, but that would be the only value of that, because who are they going to actually sign? To me, Justice Winslow, and I loved him coming out of college. I absolutely thought he was great at Duke. If he is healthy, to me, he is the more athletic, the actually able to shoot the three version of Kyle Anderson.
Yeah, I actually think that's a pretty fair comp in terms of his size, his versatility. Again, you could argue his second position, or maybe even the position that he was best when he was really thriving in Miami a year or two ago, was the point guard position, when he was that point forward. So if you look at this Grizzlies roster, and it's just so fascinating, we had an article go up over at the blog talking about what a difference a year can make. Just over the last few years of the Chris Wallace era and the pseudo rebuild, to try to do two things at once, stay competitive and rebuild at the same time, that didn't work. In fairness to that front office, I thought it could possibly work, and it didn't. You just didn't have much shooting, or you didn't have many guys that could dribble, it seemed, at the professional level. Not too many facilitators and creators with the basketball in their hands. Now there's a plethora of them. The Grizzlies have a ton of guys that can create off a dribble penetration, get to the basket, get kickouts to open shooters. They have a lot of those types of playmakers, and Justice Winslow just adds to that. So I think that's a decent comp, a better, more athletic. Kyle Anderson is so unique in terms of how he can create and what he can do defensively. I see Kyle Anderson kind of like Boris Diaw was with Spurs years ago. Justice Winslow is somebody who can be what Kyle Anderson is and just do it in another unique way. It's almost like a pitcher going to his changeup after a fastball. I would compare Winslow as the fastball and maybe Anderson as the curveball or the changeup in terms of what they both bring that's similar, but also in a very different way to get to that end.
By the way, you were right. Gorgui Dieng makes a little bit more than Valanciunas. He makes 16.2 and change, and Valanciunas this year 16. You said, Joe, Gorgui Dieng the fourth big. I'm thinking that he's going to be the backup to Valanciunas. I would think he's a better option than Jordan Bell, and then Jaren's playing the four. So what am I missing here?
I think that you're not going to see Jaren Jackson Jr. and Brandon Clark missing out on minutes for the sake of Gorgui Dieng and Jordan Bell. I do think that they're going to continue to prioritize their development, and the best way to develop is to play. So while I don't think you'll see as many minutes for Brandon at the 5 now, to me that's going to be the major shift.
Right.
You could tell very, very clearly that the Grizzlies struggled mightily when it was Clark playing that 5 position. I do think maybe you see more of Jaren at the 5 in spots and Brandon Clark at the 4. Again, money is not really an object at this stage for the Grizzlies. So the fact that Gorgui Dieng could be sitting on the bench playing 10 or 12 minutes a night, making more money per year in terms of millions than he is playing minutes on this team, first off, that may not be true because Dieng is actually a pretty good big. I thought that was good value that they were able to get him in this trade. That's being overlooked a little bit. I like his ad on this team. But also, it also just puts you in a position that if something bad happens, God forbid, somebody gets hurt, Valanciunas, Clark, Jaren Jackson Jr., before the events of the past couple of days, if that had happened, the Grizzlies would have been dead. Like, you could probably write them off in this playoff contention.
Mm-hmm.
This makes them deeper in the front court and allows for them, if something goes haywire, they won't fall off. It won't be complete disaster for them with their bigs at the 4 and 5 position because they've reinforced it with obviously Dieng and Bell. So I really like the addition there. And again, the fact that he makes the money he makes because of the way that the front office has structured this roster, it's really irrelevant. What matters is how they fit and how they can benefit, what their roles are. And as long as these guys buy into that, I don't see a big problem long term.
Yeah, that to me, with the Jake thing, James Johnson was going to have no role whatsoever.
Right.
So you at least get a guy that there is a need, like to have an extra big body around is a nice thing. As you said, if in case of injury, they were so thin up front that if one of those guys were to have missed a substantial amount of time, you were going to be in some trouble up front.
Oh, there's no question, and I'm kind of where Joe is. I mean, I think it's probably 10, 12 minutes, but I don't think he's on the bench not playing because he has that relationship with Tyus Jones, and when Jones comes in, Jen can give Valanciunas a spell. And you're right. You probably will see the Clark, Jaren Jackson Jr. combinations a lot as well, and they're not going to sacrifice those minutes. It's just another option, foul trouble, injuries, things of that nature, but also that there is that relationship with Tyus that I think Jen could actually help this team. Jordan Bell, I don't know how he even comes off the bench.
Well, his name starts with a J, so that's the first start he had. we really need to get Gorgie to change to Georgie, change us to J's, because we're really trying to get the corner of the market on all J's on the roster.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get a really good nickname for this team with all the J's. But look, I think we're all in unison. I think we all kind of like where they are right now. And I think the point about Jay Crowder is well taken. We said it earlier. One of the arguments from the national pundits is that it hurts them in the short term, and it could really hurt them in the long term as well. But the short term, I don't know how much of a difference maker those guys were, although Crowder and Solomon Hill, and I'm not going to kick dirt on their grave, those guys were great to have around the locker room, on the court as leaders, professionals, the way they left Memphis and what they said on social media. I mean, that's how it's done, and you really love the relationship they have with those players. What you hope it doesn't do is kind of screw around with that chemistry that those guys had with those veteran players, because now, from a veteran standpoint, there's not much there.
Well, you got Valanciunas. He's played 8 NBA seasons. You've got Kyle Anderson, who's on his second contract after his rookie deal. Same thing with Tyus Jones. I mean, we talk about how Tyus Jones is only 23 years old, but we have to remember he's on his second deal. He's in his 5th year in the NBA, I believe.
Right, yeah.
You've got young veterans, but it's guys that have been in the league. You know, they understand the grind of the season, how to take care of your body, take care of your mind, you know, the way to carry yourself. They may not have the same seasoning as Hill and Crowder, especially Crowder, but that's not necessarily as important as getting good value for the long-term rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
If part of the reason that they graded this trade so poorly for Memphis, Kevin Pelton comes to mind, but there's other guys, is that it hurts them in the short term. This Grizzlies front office has proven time and again, and I'm thankful for it, that they could care less about this season. In terms of, if they make the playoffs, that's awesome. They're ecstatic. They want to. They're not tanking. But at the same time, guys, and I know you guys know this, they could beat their over of 27.5 wins before the All-Star break. Like, there could be people tearing up their tickets for taking the under of the Grizzlies before the All-Star game happens.
True.
So anything after that is gravy, in my opinion, and that's always been my stance. So if they make the playoffs, that's even more icing on top of all of it.
I agree.
I don't think that this front office is going to sacrifice anything for a short-term success. They're not about trying to be the 7 or 8 seed like Chris Wallace was towards the end of his tenure. They want to compete for championships, and that takes time. They have the talent in terms of the top of their roster. I think John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., those two guys, you get the right pieces around them, they can be a championship contender 3, 4, maybe even a little bit sooner, but probably closer to 3 or 4 years from now. And they probably see Justice Winslow as a key component of that core. Same thing with Dylan Brooks. Same thing with Anthony Melton. They've got a core of guys that they clearly believe in, and this summer might be a quiet one in terms of moves, but when you're at this stage of their rebuild, their process, so to speak, you are more concerned about internal development once you have the talent in place that you think can take you where you want to go. And I do believe they've definitely kicked the can down the road. But we also have to keep in mind, this time next year, you know, a couple days before, wherever the trade deadline is going to be, you're going to have an expiring contract of a Gorgie Deng. You're going to have the expiring contract, if Justice Winslow isn't any good, of a Justice Winslow with a team option. You're going to have money coming off the books, plus a couple of first-round picks. Oh, by the way, you're going to convey that pick to Boston this year, more than likely, unless something catastrophic happens. So you're going to have your full ledger of picks. You could see the Grizzlies being in the mix for a guy like a Bradley Beal if Washington's rebuild isn't going the way they want it to, if John Wall doesn't come back healthy the way he's supposed to, and Washington just decides to say, forget it, and restarts. That could be someone that you could add next to Justice Winslow.
And Waiters' money, right, will be coming off. Waiters' money also.
Right, absolutely. Right. So I think that it's just moving down the road to see what the free agent landscape and what the landscape of the league looks like in 2021. And again, because that draft pick conveyance will be paid and the debts will be done, they will have the full disposal of their picks plus the Jazz pick plus the Golden State pick to bring in a third man, so to speak. They're set up pretty well, and it's just going to take time and patience to allow all of this to play out. I think they're still putting themselves in position to take advantage of the mistakes of other franchises. Those mistakes just haven't happened yet, if that makes sense.
Not that I want to, but it's hard to argue with anything you said, Joe. I think we're in unison. Where you're coming from and what we've been talking about. Really appreciate it, as always. Joe Mullinax and his crew do an amazing job covering the Grizzlies. The site is SB Nation's Grizzly Bear Blues. Check it out. Follow Joe on Twitter at Joe Mullinax. Joe, thank you as always. We'll talk to you down the road.
I appreciate you guys. Anytime.
Thank you, man.
It's funny, and I know, Gabe, I think you may have retweeted that, Sportsline has the Grizzlies now with better odds to make the playoffs than they did before the trades. If you look at most of the playoff projection things where all these people who simulate the rest of the year 10,000 times, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it was before the trades, but I just looked at it around today. Most have Portland getting the 8th seed over the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are anywhere from about a 20 to 30, 35. Some have maybe up as high as like a 40% chance of making the playoffs. But most of them have Portland kind of in that 8th spot. But again, like he said, so who cares? That doesn't matter if the Grizzlies miss the playoffs this year.
It doesn't matter in the long run for the organization. It doesn't matter in the short run for the organization. But for the fans, they're caught up in it right now. They want to go to the postseason, even if they get blitzed in the first round. And who knows? I don't think they get blitzed by anybody. I'm not saying they beat the number 1 seed if they're the 8th seed, but they're going to be competitive because that's what they've become. So I think people have been caught up in it. I'm not saying that people are going to be crying in their soup for weeks if they don't make the playoffs, but they want to go. And I would bet still climbing in those guys, they want to go too, but they're not going to sacrifice anything. That's why I think they've done such a great job. And here's the thing. Tonight they got Philadelphia. I would think that's a loss. Philadelphia's been terrible on the road. They're in a little bit of disarray, but that's still a star-studded team. The Grizzlies were able to take advantage of no Luka Wednesday night and beat Dallas by 14. I thought that one was probably Dallas at home winning, but I thought it could be a toss-up because of the absence of Luka. This one I think is a loss. You come around, you win this game. I mean, I don't know what to think. I mean, we had callers yesterday and said they're making the playoffs, and there's other people that feel that, like I do, that Portland right now has got it going. They beat San Antonio last night. They're back to within 2.5 of the Grizzlies, and they got the hottest player in the NBA in Dame Lillard. So I don't know, but the way it's going, I think fans are caught up in it now where they want to see them make the postseason, even if it's just the 8th seed and even if it's a first-round exit.
I think it's a really weird thing, a lot of the negative energy and attention around this trade from the national guys you talked about. And I think the most of this is just they're overrating vastly what Jay Crowder is. Because long run, these guys were expiring contracts. These guys are done after this year. They weren't going to fit into anything long-term for you. So I can see short-term. I can see where it may hurt you short-term, even though Sportsline just sort of showed maybe it doesn't. But long-term, I don't understand that. I don't think that's a valid argument.
All right. When we come back, the Red Sox have a new skipper. We'll tell you who it is. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Want to get your voice heard? Hit us up on the First Bank phone line or First Bank text line.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main downtown has all your game day needs with 30 TVs. If your game is not on one of the 20 big screens, then sit in a booth with your own remote. The Vault has game day specials on pitchers, buckets of beer, and great food, which is the best thing about the Vault. This is not your normal sports bar. Chef Dirk Meitzler from On Tour and Cafe 621 has all his favorites like Chicken Newport and his new lobster enchilada. Open for lunch and dinner every day with lunch specials for $12 weekdays with a drink. The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main, your downtown place to eat, drink, and watch the game.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. And we give you this magic music, which will inspire the perfect hire to begin clog dancing. Okay, there's no magic music, but skills tests, that's a for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Post your next job at Indeed.com/hire and try skills tests for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey guys, Valentine's Day is just around the corner. Treat your special someone to a fantastic dinner at the Butcher Shop Steakhouse. In addition to the full menu, the Butcher Shop is offering their famous Dinner for Two special all weekend long, February 14th, 15th, and 16th. Start the evening with a glass of house wine, champagne, or beer. Share an appetizer of spinach and artichoke dip or Cajun sautéed shrimp. Choose from 6 delicious entrees, 7-ounce filet mignon, 14-ounce New York strip, 14-ounce ribeye, fresh Atlantic salmon, char-grilled chicken breast, or grilled lobster tail. Each entree includes a fresh garden or Caesar salad, baked potato, and hot bread. Each guest enjoys a homemade dessert, New York cheesecake, or chocolate thunder brownie. Your choice of soda, tea, or coffee completes the meal. All for $99.50 plus tax and gratuity per couple. For reservations, call the Butcher Shop at 901-757-4244. Or for more information, visit thebutchershop.com.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
I want to get your thoughts on a few of these other trades. Plus, last night, the All-Star Game squads were picked by LeBron James and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Before we do that, though...
Antetokounmpo, never going to be a GM in the league.
I know. I mean, it's unbelievable. But Ron Renicky is expected to be named the new manager of the Boston Red Sox, according to Bob Nightingale from USA Today Sports. He will replace Alex Cora, who stepped down in wake of the whole Astros fiasco. So Ron Renicky, a flash from the past.
Good for Ron. Congratulations. You don't have Mookie Betts.
Ron Renicky to the Red Sox. Dusty Baker to the Astros. And then they had the young guy Rojas, who was hired by the Mets. All right, so a couple of other trades that went down included the Andre Drummond trade, which he was really upset on social media about loyalty from the Pistons, and he should realize, as a veteran player, all is fair in love and war. He goes to Cleveland for a combination of Brandon Knight, John Henson. I didn't even know Brandon Knight was still in the league, and a second-round pick. But what is Cleveland? Are they looking down the road? You know, they're going to try to re-sign Andre Drummond and keep him free. Andre Drummond's a really good player, but he's also becoming a dinosaur to a certain extent in today's game.
That's the problem. I mean, it's how he puts up great numbers, but how does he fit into today's NBA is a little weird, just because he can't shoot. If he can't shoot, that makes it difficult. So
right.
He's a guy around the rim.
But a monster rebounder.
Unbelievable rebounder. I mean, he's freaking incredible rebounding the ball, but just at his size, and he still has athleticism, and the fact that he's always going to be around the rim. Yeah, he's going to get you a ton of rebounds, but he is it's a little weird that's today's world, that you got to try and figure out how a guy who can go get you, who leads the league in double-doubles. I mean, he can go get you any night 20 and 20, and yet you got to go, how does he fit in today's game?
No, you're absolutely right. The Clippers, Knicks, and Wizards made a 3-team trade. Of course, the Clippers are the only relevant team of those 3 this year. And they go out and they get Marcus Morris and Isaiah Thomas. Jerome Robinson goes to the Wizards. The Knicks get a 2020 first-round pick and Mo Harkless. Why do I feel Mo Harkless has been traded 1,000 times? It's like every time there's a trade, it's Mo Harkless. But Marcus Morris, tough guy, fake tough guy, whichever way you want to look at it, and Isaiah Thomas, who's had a kind of a new lease on his career. Are they that much of a difference maker for the Clippers as they're trying to break away from the Lakers and everybody else at the top tier of the West?
There were reports they were going to release Isaiah. I don't know if they did or are.
I haven't seen anything.
There were reports they were just going. They were keeping him.
But Morris is the main.
Yeah, Morris adds depth to that team. I mean, both of the Morrises can play. Not great players, but they are certainly guys who can give you quality minutes. So I don't think it's a bad deal to bring him in and just provide a little extra depth. And they're guys, because of their size and ability, like they fit in today's NBA game. Got a little size, athleticism, can shoot, can guard a lot of different positions, switching defensively. Like they do a lot of different things. So they're guys who are going to continue to have value.
Also, yesterday, the All-Star squads were announced. LeBron James and Giannis Antetokounmpo, they went ahead and they picked. And LeBron James had the first pick. And then Giannis the second, and that's the way they went. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. Let me give you LeBron James' team. Okay, and I believe this is in order of the picks. The first pick overall was Anthony Davis, his teammate with the Lakers. This is LeBron James' team. Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, Luka Doncic, James Harden, Damian Lillard, Ben Simmons, Nikola Jokic, Jason Tatum, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, and Sabonis. Giannis's team. His first pick was Joel Embiid, who could always pull out with a back injury. Pascal Siakam, Kemba Walker, Trae Young, Chris Middleton, his teammate in Milwaukee, Bam Adebayo, Rudy Gobert, Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry,
Brandon Ingram.
Thank you. Couldn't read my own writing. And Donovan Mitchell. On paper, that's an absolute slaughter. I mean, an absolute slaughter. So you pick AD, you come back. I guess Giannis is thinking, well, I better get size to guard AD, so I'll get Embiid. And then James goes back with Kawhi Leonard. You got Siakam, who's been good, but no Kawhi Leonard. Then LeBron comes back with Doncic, who's been phenomenal, MVP race. Giannis goes with Kemba Walker. Again, these are good players. They're all-stars. They're great players. And he comes back with Harden. Then you get a poor man's Harden and Trae Young. They come back with Lillard. What?
I hope Giannis is never a GM ever.
Yeah,
that's what Eli said.
The thing is, I don't know if he was just because the starters ended up. It's just West versus East. Like I don't know if he was trying to do that or what. Because I
didn't even notice that.
That's what they ended up is the West and the East are the starting lineups.
Wow, I didn't notice that.
But and Giannis did have the funny one when he had the guys up there and Harden was one of them. He said, "I want guys who are going to pass the ball," so he didn't take Harden. That was a funny little. That's a funny little comment. You got to give.
But he had his notes. He did his due diligence, and he comes up with this team.
I don't know if he was trying to do it as we're just going to set these starters up as West versus East. But I mean, when you're taking there's no, you don't take Embiid as the second pick. There's none of his picks make sense. Like leaving James Harden on the board until pick 7 when you're taking Joel Embiid, Pascal Siakam, and Kemba Walker. I mean, there's no reasonable explanation for that. One, yeah, he doesn't pass the ball enough. Or two, we're just trying to I'm going to set this up. I'm going to draft all the East guys. I know he'll draft all the guys in the West because they're all the better guys. So he'll take them, and then I'll just take the East guy after that.
How high do you think Ja Morant would have went if he was an All-Star? I would bet he would go before Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, Donovan Mitchell, all those guys. I bet you he would. I bet you he would because I think the thought would be this guy's Mr. Excitement. He's fired up to play in an All-Star game. And he's going to really help out the team. One other thing before we go to the break, we talked about this yesterday on the program. It looks like super agent Leon Rose is going to be named the president of the New York Knicks. And according to the rumors, Worldwide Wes will be a part of the front office of the New York Knickerbockers.
Yeah, it was funny. I was talking about this at the Hustle game yesterday when it came out. I was like, I haven't even heard the name Worldwide Wes in so long. Like I was like, he'd kind of disappeared. Like you used to see him just, with John Calipari everywhere John Calipari was. And then he kind of disappeared. And I was like, what has Worldwide Wes been up to? I don't even know.
He's part of the agency. He's part of Rose's agency, CAA. He's part of that. He became a certified agent from whatever you want to call him. I liked him because he was around the Tigers all the time. I was on the planes with him and the buses with him. I remember he handed over his phone to I forget what player it was, and it was Michael Jordan on the phone. I mean, that guy had power, but he became part of Leon Rose's stable, and now they could be running the New York Knicks.
Well, if this is true and they do that, then, boy, the rumors of John Calipari being the head coach of the Knicks will be crazy.
Good point. Good point. When we come back, we're going to talk some Tigers basketball. Coming off a nice win against Temple. They got to keep winning, and they got USF next tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Assistant Coach Cody Toppert will join us to kick off hour number 2. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 on social media.
Hey, it's Flo with a super weird word, nightgown. If you ask me, it sounds less like clothes you wear to bed and more like things you say to your clothes. Good night, capri pants, sleep tight sweaters, nightgown. We've got a big day tomorrow. Now a weird word I just made up, flotection. It sounds like great protection for your new home through me and Progressive, and that's because it is. I said good night, capri pants. Go to sleep.
Save an average of 17% on car insurance when you bundle home and auto through Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
You have to be up in 5 hours, 2 hours, 6 minutes. And when you hear, you realize that you haven't slept a wink. That's why there's ZzzQuil Pure Z's, a drug-free blend of botanicals with an optimal dose of melatonin, so you can fall asleep naturally with no next-day grogginess. It's available in both liquid and gummies, tastes great, and is non-habit forming. Pick up ZzzQuil Pure Z's from the sleep experts at Vicks ZzzQuil. ZzzQuil Pure Z's, naturally superior sleep. Available at retailers near you.
Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and here at Sports 56, we want to make you a hero. That's why all day from 10 to 6 on Monday the 10th, we will be at Dinstall's on Pleasant View. And when you come in, you get a 14% discount on your purchase of $14 or more, all for Valentine's Day. Remember all the sweethearts in your life? They love Dinstall's chocolate. We've got giveaways, too. A 1-pound heart-shaped box of Dinstall's hand-packed chocolates will be given away. So will chocolate-covered strawberries. They're in time for Valentine's Day. So be a hero. Head to any of the locations, Laurelwood, Germantown, Collierville, even downtown now, located at Main Street and Peabody Place, and get the best chocolates, the best strawberries, the best candies, the signature of Memphis, Dinstall's. And don't forget, from 10 to 6 on Pleasant View, we'll be there for Valentine's Day.
The Vargas family, legendary Memphis restaurateur, starting with Mr. Charlie and continuing today with his grandchildren.
Brett, it just dawned on me the other day that while Memphis is celebrating its bicentennial, the Rendezvous has been here well over 1/3 of Memphis's existence. But we're not a place to rest on our laurels or reputation. We're always trying to add new things to make our customers' experience more enjoyable. Friday lunches have always been special because we give away our red beans and rice. But we are now adding a sausage sandwich.
John, we first got a taste of it at the golf tournament.
It's the same sausage we serve on our cheese and sausage plate, but it will be served lengthwise on the bun with beans and slaw on the side. We've also partnered with a company called Devillet out of Dyersburg to introduce a new sweet glazed mustard with Rendezvous seasoning in it. It will really go great with a sandwich. I still recommend adding slaw. As I've mentioned before, my grandfather had a hot dog stand on Beale Street in 1916, and that's the same slaw he used. So here we are now 103 years later, and we've come full circle using his slaw on our hot dogs. Hope to see you this Friday at the Rendezvous.
In the alley in downtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Gold Strike Casino and Resort in Tunica. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. 11:01 is the time. Hour 2, Sports 56 Middays on this Friday, February 7th, 2020. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Gabe Kuhn. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. That's just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how FedEx can help you start, grow, and efficiently manage your business. In the second hour of the program, brought to you by the Gold Strike Casino Resort and the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill, the South's premier sports entertainment venue. It's located inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. We spent pretty much the entire first hour talking about the Grizzlies, and from here on out, we got a lot of Tigers talk. We'll have Matt Dillon in studio for the Tiger Basketball Report at noon, but right now, it is our pleasure to welcome assistant coach Cody Topper to the program once again. You can follow Cody on Twitter at Top33. The Tigers back in action tomorrow afternoon as they host the Bulls of USF. Cody, how are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us again. We appreciate it. So, looking back at the performance against Temple, obviously the turnovers are still an issue, but overall, I thought that was a pretty complete game. You got balanced scoring. Guys really did a good job rebounding the basketball. What was your guys' thoughts after the game and maybe looking at some of the tape of how well you played in that game?
Well, overall, this year we're 341st in turnover percentage, right? So obviously that's the thing that you've got to look at first and foremost to me. UConn attempted 20 more field goals than us in a game that we won, right? So the more possessions that we can really kind of control, take care of the ball, value the basketball, and actually just get a shot attempt, the better. If we assume that we're going to score at about 1 point per possession, which an average offense does, right? If we can eliminate 5 to 6 turnovers a game, that's 5 to 6 additional points. And we know that we've seen games come down to close margins at the end, and you never know when that game-defining play is going to happen. So we're just preaching to our guys, to value the basketball, to make the simple play, repeat it, right? And if it's not broke, don't fix it. So we don't need to just say, hey, we got here by, hitting singles like against, SMU, 12 assists, 2 turnovers at halftime, and then come out and get risky in the second half. No, it's just the same recipe over and over again.
So, what do you see as the cause of the turnovers?
The ones where, one guy, inbounds the ball after a made basket and just wildly lost it to the next guy and it gets intercepted. And that's just bad. That's bad news Bears stuff right there. I feel like I've seen that at my 4-year-old daughter's, games. So, some of those, there's just really no explanation other than understanding this isn't high school, or there's understanding that this is high stakes basketball and understanding that you've got to be locked in on every single possession. And I think to me, there's at least 2 to 3 a game that make absolutely no sense whatsoever. I mean, there's no practice recipe for, some of the turnovers that we have. Now, some of the other ones, it's understanding when there's fast break and there's not fast break, and then understanding how to flow into our secondary break. And I think that obviously against Temple, we showed there were some really, really good possessions where we threw the ball ahead, and where in past games we would look to wildly attack the paint and do something erratic. We threw it back out to the perimeter, and then we got into our offense, and we created a wonderful shot. And so, to me, that's a big thing because our offensive efficiency and our inability to score is a direct result of our inability to take care of the basketball. Because in a lot of different offensive categories, we're actually quite good. Free throw rate, we're 10th in the country, right? Rim field goal rate, we're 12th in the country. So 42.4% of our shots are coming at the rim. I mean, this is the same stuff that the Grizzlies have. Their recipe for success: open the floor, assault the rim, shoot open threes, right? We're shooting 33.9% from the three-point line. That's 31st in the country out of the Power 7 conferences. That's not a bad percentage at all, right? So for us, we've got to create these open looks. And our assist percentage has started to go up as well, which is great for us because we want the ball moving. 56% of our shots have been assisted. So, well, where's our problem? We're operating 30% of our offense in transition, which is 5th in the country. Our effective field goal percentage in transition is 56.6, which is 18th in the country. So why is our offense not scoring points? It's pretty easy. we're turning the ball over. 341st in the country in turnovers.
Yeah,
we know it. You guys know it. The world knows it. It ain't the same brain surgery.
Exactly, and not to dwell on the point, but it is such an important avenue that you guys are, certainly struggling with the turnovers. You mentioned some of those turnovers that you just boggles the mind. You pull your hair out, but the thing with with me is the standing out of bounds, like the foot on the sideline or the foot on the base. I don't know how that happens all the time, but it seems to happen more today than 3 years ago. And then there was also the situation against Temple where Alex is in the air and nowhere to throw the ball. I'm thinking to myself, why are you leaving your feet to do that? So there are unforced errors. It's not like teams are pressing you, and that's got to drive you crazy.
Exactly. No, exactly. So, I mean, well, if we go to UCF, they have different court dimensions, don't they? Oh, wait. No, they don't. Like, oh, my. Tony Matlock gets blue in the face from telling our guys to stay in bounds. Now, something to note here, too, when you kind of look at the court now, as I'm looking down at our practice court, is there's about, a 5-inch difference from the corner three last year to this year. So the line moved back.
Mm-hmm.
And guys in the NBA, guys going from college to the NBA, I've had a lot of experience with them struggling with understanding how to stay in bounds. And then after once you kind of figure out whether you catch it inbounds or don't catch it inbounds, the other thing that a lot of college guys have a problem with is a negative step. So their first step to go forward is backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And at the NBA level, we call it, Maggette cuts, running through the ball, go catches, attacking the catch. What you really want to do is you want to meet the ball, but you have to meet the ball with a positive step. And if you don't, that's when you see those ones where guys who are trying to be drivers instead of shooters are also stepping out of bounds. But at some point in time, you just got to figure it out and know where you're at on the floor, right? And that definitely drives us nuts. The other thing is, the guy who has the ball owns the game. So the guy who has the ball has to take all the decisions, right? Because he's going to decide whether he passes it or shoots. Only he knows what he's going to do. And when you look at guys jumping in the air and not having anywhere to go, and you've got other guys on the floor, so hey, a ball, whatever. They're saying they're open this. And a guy jumps in the air just because he hears a guy say something to him and then turns the ball over and says, man, don't talk to me when I have the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of boggles my mind too, because the answer is really like, dude, you've got the ball, make the right decision. You know what I mean? Like, make the calculated play. So obviously we know we can't do those things. We emphasize them as a staff. Our guys are getting better at them. So we are seeing improvement, which is great. People always talk about, how many freshmen, how young we are. We're not the second youngest team in the country. We're not the third youngest. We're not the fifth youngest. We're the youngest, right? And so being the youngest, we know we're going to have those growing pains. But when you look at Michigan's quote-unquote Fab Five or whatever, look at their roster dynamics. They had upperclassmen playing with freshmen, right? So our upperclassmen are sophomores, really, that are playing significant minutes. And so we're all still learning. We're improving inch by inch. And if we learn to really value the basketball and stay with what we're doing on the defensive side, I mean, heck, we're first in the country right now in opponent effective field goal percentage. We're holding teams to 41.6% on the effective. I mean, that's number one. That's ahead of Virginia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're first in the country at defending the rim. Teams are shooting 44.3% at our rim, first in the country. Teams aren't scoring on us, right? Now, we know defensive rebounding has to continue to improve to limit second shots. But we're really, really good on that end of the floor, and our adjusted defensive rating is 10th in the country. So right now, if we can take care of the basketball and just get 5, 6 more shots at the basket, if we don't even shoot great on those shots, we're going to get 5 or 6 more points. If we shoot well on those shots, we're going to get 8 to 10 more points. And that's really how you push a cushion out and you build leads and you keep leads and you win basketball games. And hopefully our guys are going to continue to learn from the film, from the emphasis in practice, and from their successes in the game.
What's kind of been the key, you think, to for Boogie to kind of gotten out of that funk and to be playing the way he is now?
I think it's two things. Number one is guys who work, the basketball gods, I mean, they always give back to those who work, right? So he's just been pounding the stone. Even when he was, struggling, he was in early. He was in, we call it brushing your teeth, right? So we have like a workout that he does like every single morning. I say it's brushing your teeth because everybody wants white teeth, but nobody really enjoys brushing them. You know what I mean? Like, so
nice
you got to brush your teeth.
Does he floss too? If he's flossing, that's really amazing.
We'll get to the we'll get to the floss, right? But we brush right now. You know, you might still get a cavity or two, but we're going to brush. And the thing is to me, it's just an analogy on don't get bored with success, right? Don't get bored with the simple things.
Mm-hmm.
And so he stayed true to that process. So while he was struggling with through everything else, you know, people might be evaluating that elbow in, elbow out, this, that, you know, all these little mechanical things. That's not what it was, right? It was just a mental element. And, you know, to see him fight through that, but stay with his work ethic, I'm not surprised that he was going to have success. We always knew he was a talented player. And now, you know, confidence is a dangerous thing because once you get it and you combine that with work ethic, I mean, we've seen what that's done with the Grizzlies. Right now they believe. And now what you see on the floor reflects that. And I think that that's something that all players can take a lesson from.
Cody, has he been more on the ball here recently with his changing in fortunes and becoming the player that we expected him to play? Because you have obviously guys that are good with the ball and at times have struggled with the ball. Damian Ball, no pun intended, Alex Lomax. But you're there, you're coaching these guys. It seems like Boogie is better with the basketball in his hand. And even though he's been making some threes here recently, it seems like that's more his game. Am I wrong with that? Is he better at the two? What do you see as far as that guard rotation and who should be running the offense?
Well, the interesting thing about it is, and we, you know, if you really look at our playbook, right, through the mess, through the ugliness of our turnovers, it's very similar to what you see when you watch a Grizzlies game. We're trying to run with 5-out spacing. Yeah, we'll put pressure on the rim if we get our big man ahead, but it's not position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think our guys early were really trying to pressure up in terms of position 1. I'm the point guard. The point guard is, I initiate the offense. I make the decisions. I'm good, and that's not really what the game is, right? Of course, Ja Morant's the point guard, but if you have multiple skilled players, it's a multiple push guy mentality, right? And we don't even use position 5 anymore. I mean, and some of it's mind games, right? Don't tell Precious Achiuwa he's the center ever, right? Don't ever do that. That's not good. But he's the trigger man. So what do we have out there? We've got player, trigger man. The reason why he's the trigger man is because he's got the biggest guy guarding him. The least likely switch. If it's a switch, it's the most likely mismatch. So now we can try to trigger 2 on the ball and attack closeouts. But as that pertains to Boogie Ellis, I think what we tried to do as a staff was alleviate the pressure of being the point guard. Yes, we want you to have the ball after a made basket, but we don't want you to just dribble up, pound it, and have to act like you're going to, be the puppeteer and orchestrate the Princeton offense. No, it's get the ball in, get it up. Next guy looks to get the decision. Boom, no, get it back. Now we've simplified what we're doing to 3 main things through the trail with our away screens that we've seen and had great success with our on-ball screens, with our on-ball screens that go to what we call quick screens or corner pins. And now we've simplified his decision-making process to where, we have a giant playbook. And this is what we said in the film session yesterday. The players have a playbook that they own. And really, it's fairly simple, right? Now, it's got a lot of different subcategories in terms of reads, but it's 3 or 4 easy calls or actions that can be initiated based upon a decision by the guy who has the ball. And then the coaches have a playbook. So if coach wants us to walk it up and run something, now that's his playbook that he draws from. But we basically, told Boogie that he doesn't have to be Tom Brady. He doesn't have to dig to the deepest nuances of our playbook to make some call to get some guy the ball. No, we're going to play out of our flow package on makes and misses. You own these 3 calls. Penny owns the rest of the calls. And let's see how it comes together. And I think that we've had much more success with that as of late.
The other one is Lance Thomas. Is that just a simple thing of seeing some shots go in and gaining some confidence? What has been key for him?
I mean, honestly, this is the Lance that we're seeing is the Lance that I expected to see, not knowing anything about anybody when I came in here. The Lance that I saw in the Bahamas, the Lance that I saw early on was the Lance that I expected to see. And, confidence is the son of a gun. It sure is. It's a dangerous thing in the game of basketball because as it goes lower, right now, the pressure just continues to mount. And the funny thing about it is, right, there are times when you look up and you've dug yourself in a hole, just in anything, right, in life or whatever, right? You've just dug yourself, you're in the hole. So now you're in the hole and it's like, now what, right? some guys, right, are in there strategizing, what's my next step? I got to go one step, then the next step, and eventually you're out of the hole. Other guys sit in there, and they're so mad about being in the hole, they're not strategizing how to get out, and they just continue to just dig themselves deeper in, you know? And so from a mental standpoint, he got in that hole because he was missing some shots, and then he had a period of time where he wasn't brushing his teeth. You know, he wasn't doing the unrequired work. And the Lance Thomas that I saw from day one was doing the unrequired work. He was doing those little things, and he was having success. And so I think what happened was Lance literally hit kind of a little bit of a rock bottom element where it's like, man, just now the pressure's just all off because the expectation is gone. Now I can get back to what got me here. And now he got back in the gym early, staying late, getting extra shots up, doing those things. And he saw a couple go in. And obviously he got that start, which was well-deserved based on the work that he had done in practice and the work that he'd done before and after practice. And he's had success. I mean, it's been great to see. And honestly, I think we all hope it's the Lance that's going to stick. But I believe that it is, because I believe that what we're seeing now is Lance Thomas.
Tigers assistant basketball coach Cody Topper joining us on the program. You can follow him on Twitter at Top33. Are you optimistic? And I know you're not a doctor and you don't play one on the radio, but are you optimistic or pessimistic about DJ coming back and actually being able to play at the end of the season?
Yeah, you know, I mean, the biggest thing is just control the controllables, right? So DJ's responsibility to this team, to this school, and to this city is to diligently undertake the rehab that the doctors and the medical staff have put in front of him, right? And being out is a lot harder than being in, and it's unbelievable what an injury can do in terms of putting things in perspective and making you grateful and understanding that, man, that when Coach Topper makes me get shots up after practice, like, man, like, that's actually not that bad, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
But the reality of it is that he handles that. It's everybody else's responsibility to have a next man up mentality and to pick up, you know, where you pick up the slack, you know, and just grab a little bit tighter hold of the rope and continue to pull in the same direction. If we do that, we'll be just fine. Will he make it back and help us out? It's hard to say. You know, as long as he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, I would feel confident that we'd have an opportunity to see him suit up again this season. But he's got a great and glorious career ahead of him if he continues to do the right things. And what he's done so far in practice with us has been great because he hasn't been sulking. He's been a positive influence, and he's actually learning to see the game from a different light and be more vocal with his teammates. So I think this whole organization, school, program, city will be better off for it at the end of the day, and I think he'll be better off for it. So we'll keep plugging along without him.
So South Florida, a team that you guys fell behind but were able to come back and win that game, they're 331st in turnover percentage. So other than possibly, hopefully just on their side, but a lot of turnovers, what are the keys against South Florida tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, South Florida, they do turn the ball over a lot. They also get to the rim at a good amount. You know, they're 33 out of the Power 7 conferences in getting to the rim. So it's going to be important for us to defend the rim. And we need to make sure that they shoot a low percentage. And I think what we see, what we saw last time and what we've seen even in Temple is our ability to guard the initial action is pretty solid. So once we guard that initial action and they get late into the shot clock, now it just becomes about keeping guys out of our paint. So if we can catch guys' moves, not commit needless fouls at the end of the shot clock, keep guys out of our paint and force those intermediate contested shots, then we'll be in a good spot, right? Because these guys are taking about 25% of their shots in the mid-range. We need that to continue. They only make about 32% of those shots. So the more we can force those, the more we can contest those, the lower the percentage that is going to be as well. And then we've just got to make sure that once we get stops, we have to rebound. That's huge because they rebound at about a 32% offensive rebounding percentage rate, which is solid. So once we keep them off the glass, it's going to allow us to get out in transition. And then from there, it's just going to be about us maintaining the responsibility of taking care of the basketball.
3 o'clock tomorrow, FedEx Forum, Tigers and USF. Cody, as always, really appreciate it. We'll see you over there tomorrow.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Appreciate you guys.
Last night there was a shakeup in the American Conference as Wichita State got beat at home by Cincinnati 80-79. The Tigers will be at Cincinnati next Thursday. Jaron Cumberland with a 3-point play with 3.5 seconds to go. And then Tulsa which has been the surprise of the conference. One of the surprises in college basketball, got crushed at home by Connecticut. The Tigers have to go to Connecticut here soon. That was 72-56. So at the top of the American, Cincy is 8-2, Houston's 8-2, Tulsa's 7-2. Tigers are 6-3, SMU 6-3, and Wichita State right now is in 6th at 5-4. Of course, the top 4 will get byes in the first round of the conference tournament.
Coming up, going to give you a chance to win some tickets to tomorrow's Tigers game, and tomorrow at the Tigers game, the first 5,000 fans get a set of Tiger trading cards from Chick-fil-A. So you get show up early tomorrow. First 5,000 fans going to get some Tiger trading cards at tomorrow's game. And again, we'll give you a chance to win some tickets coming up in a little bit. This is a big time over at Edwin Watts. They've, of course, got their great new location that they've been in for a few months now. And right now is when the new stuff for the new season starts coming out. And over the next couple of weeks, TaylorMade is launching their new Sim lineup, and Callaway is launching their new Maverick irons this week. Callaway came out with the new Maverick driver a couple weeks ago. Now the Maverick irons are being launched. Today, in store over at Edwin Watts, there is a Callaway rep from 11 to 3. That's today. And then tomorrow from 10 until 2, doing fittings on the new Maverick iron. So you can get on over there, check them out, hit them, see how they feel, talk to a Callaway rep, get all the details that you need. That's today from 11 to 3, so going on right now till 3 o'clock. Tomorrow from 10 until 2, a Callaway rep in store. TaylorMade is going to have a rep in store next Saturday from 10 until 2 with their new Sim lineup of products. So it's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of new stuff coming out in the world of golf with all the new 2020 clubs and stuff coming out, and you can always find it at Edwin Watts. Go see Jay and the gang in the new location in the Ridgeway Trace Shopping Center there at Poplar and 240 or Poplar Ridgeway area, and check it all out. Go hit those clubs in the hitting bays, see how they feel, get some advice from the Callaway rep there today and tomorrow. TaylorMade will have their rep there next Saturday at Edwin Watts.
Our friend Travis Haddock from the National Hoop Fest has some big news. He'll pass it along when he joins us in studio when we return. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and C.J. Hertz. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
One thing I really admire about Central Barbecue is their commitment to quality.
Then why do they let you do their commercials?
I'm talking about their food. Everything is prepared with devotion to taking the time and effort to create perfect barbecue.
Oh, I know. That's exactly why I was wondering why...
They're not kidding with that slow-smoked Memphis-style slogan. They smoke their pork for 14 hours. Do they have to? They do if they want to be the best barbecue in Memphis, and they are.
And yet they let you just throw together...
There's nothing better than Central Barbecue because they care.
Except apparently about their radio ads.
I'm here interviewing Macaulay Williams, CEO of Big River Distilling Company here in Memphis. Macaulay, tell us about the uniqueness of your Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye.
Well, Eli, both my products, Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye, are produced right here in Memphis, Tennessee. The Blue Note Bourbon is a premium small batch blend, minimum age of 9 years, served at 93 proof. The Riverset Rye is a straight rye whiskey, also at 93 proof. It's a great spicy, herbaceous tone. It's great in cocktails.
Where can folks find the Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye?
Both products can be found at any local liquor store here in Memphis and also at most bars and restaurants. Next time you're down the town, be sure to ask your bartender for a glass of Blue Note or Riverset.
And is there anywhere else that folks can get more information about your products?
Yeah, absolutely. At our website, BlueNoteBourbon.com or RiversetRye.com. Also, be sure to follow us on social media at Blue Note Bourbon or at Riverset Rye.
All right, well, that sounds great. I can't wait to try a bottle.
Yeah, Eli, I really appreciate the support, and hopefully you and your listeners can pick up a bottle today.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Do you have any idea why I never speak the way I am right now? It's because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you do not need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get a customer's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or buy their products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. Fiveash Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service possible and do it at a fair price, why would I need gimmicks to sell it? Best products, best warranties, and best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. 5 Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. 5 Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
And paid for by Protect My Car. Attention vehicle owners with an auto warranty about to expire or with no coverage at all. No matter the mileage on your vehicle, Protect My Car can provide a unique extended service plan to help you avoid costly repair bills and save you thousands. To celebrate 15 years in business, we further reduced our rates, and we're adding free roadside assistance, free towing, and free car rental at no cost to all new service plans. Call 800-981-7508 for your free quote. Again, that's 800-981-7508.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Gold Strike Casino and Resort in Tunica. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays. 11:27 is the time, just about halfway home on a Friday as we get you set for the sports weekend. There have been thousands and thousands of people who have enjoyed watching the National Hoop Fest here in Memphis, and many, many players that have gone on to play in the NBA that have played in the National Hoop Fest. But it's not just Memphis. It's 3 or 4 events a year that Travis Haddock and his folks have put on, and this upcoming 2020 year will be his 10th year doing the National Hoop Fest. And Travis joins us here in studio. How are you, man?
Hey, I'm great. How about you guys?
Doing fantastic. You just completed 3 in a month, 3 tournaments in 1 month. So I'm surprised you're still standing. I thought you'd be sleeping for the next, a little Rip Van Winkle for the next couple of months.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a good idea to go to Tampa, fly home Super Bowl Sunday at 3:30 and host a party. I didn't think that one through all the way. Yeah, I'll do it. You know?
So we know here in Memphis, years past, it used to be the Penny Hardaway
Correct.
National Hoop Fest. Obviously, Penny can no longer have his name on there because he is the head coach of the Memphis Tigers. But you have a big announcement because there's going to be another a basketball player that some people have heard of.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Who's going to have his name on your Hoop Fest.
So starting December of this year, it will be now called the Kevin Durant National Hoop Fest Series.
Wow.
Yeah.
KD.
KD.
How did that come about?
They called, and they wanted to do some events, and I said, well, I have a decent formula, I think, that works, and I think so I flew to D.C. to meet with them, and then they came down to Memphis to meet with me, and we all clicked together, and a bunch of great people. So that was kind of the biggest thing for me. How is it going to be to work with new people, and then especially someone of that stature? Yeah. You know, is there going to be a lot of people involved, and it's just not that way. So it's more of a family environment. I was all in at that point.
Did they know that the association with Penny had to be severed because of his ties now with the University of Memphis, and they were looking to maybe step up and be the national sponsor, or were they looking at something maybe in addition to what you were already doing?
No, I think it was to kind of take over.
Right.
Yeah, and that was fine with me. You know, especially when Penny took the Memphis job, there's, you know, it's one thing, but you can still help. You know, try to bring in as many recruits for the event as you can, and it draws the fans in. And Memphis teams right now, they continue to compete, you know, at a very high level, as we saw, you know, when Briarcrest beat IMG Academy this year in the event. So it's just one of those situations where it was a no-brainer.
So with the Kevin Durant National Hoop Fest Series, what cities will you be going to with this? How many events will it be?
So starting off, it'll be 4. It'll start in Seattle, December 4th and 5th next year at Garfield High School, coached by Brandon Roy. They will play Oak Hill Academy in the premier game, which should be really exciting. And the next week we're going to be in Dallas, and then Memphis January 8th and 9th, and Tampa January 22nd, 23rd.
Wow. Was Seattle one did he really want that, or did his be roll out since that's where he started in his NBA career?
Yes, and to be quite honest with you, I had forgotten he spent his rookie year there.
Yeah.
So I called a friend of mine at Max Preps who lives in Seattle. I said, what do you think about a Kevin Durant national event there? He said, that will be huge because he was a big advocate to stay in Seattle. He did not want to go to Oklahoma City. He had bought a house. He was very happy. And then they moved the franchise, and he continues to go back and do certain charitable things there, and they love him. So sounds great.
If my memory serves me correctly, and I don't have a great memory, I know obviously Garfield's a power up there, but there's others. It's a huge city, but you've had a school, not Garfield, from Washington in one of your tournaments, right?
I have not.
You have not, okay.
But they have played. Garfield's played in the Geico Nationals at the end of your tournament. O'Day High School has the number 4 player in the United States right now, and Nathan Hale had Michael Porter. And Rainier Beach, these are all teams that are powerhouses.
Rainier, yes,
right.
yes,
So
that's what I'm thinking of.
They don't get to travel much.
Okay.
To go, if you notice, you don't see a lot of Seattle teams on TV. You don't see them a lot in major events because they're limited on the games they can play and how far they can go to play an event. So I was like, let's go there. They have no big event there.
See, I think when I covered when I was in television in Maryland, they had a tournament as well. I think it was the Bash at the Beach or whatever it was called, and they had it for years. It's no longer in existence, but they had a team from Washington. That's what I was thinking about. But you're right. That's a long haul to go from Washington to Maryland or even Washington to Memphis. But to now have an event there in the city with Katie's backing is going to be huge.
It's going to be huge. That's the one I'm really, we've been in all the other cities, so it's kind of exciting the first time you go to a place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Oak Hill Academy's never played in Seattle. So that's automatically going to be a fun draw for fans. And we've got Sunrise Christian. A lot of top-ranked teams are going to be there.
Is there any plans to go to, with this eventually going to Baltimore too?
So we are going to do one in DC as well. It's on MLK weekend. Not as big, more smaller, more local things, but we did it this year. Kind of kicked off at
that's what I thought you'd been there
Classic.
before.
I didn't realize what his name does. They literally opened a Smithsonian museum for us 2 hours before they actually opened for all the players locally and nationally
to tour it. Wow.
Yeah.
Where did they have the event, by the way? Where was your basketball tournament
It was at
at?
the St. James facility. It's a huge sportsplex. It's brand new. And
where's it at?
Springfield. So it's about 20 minutes from Reagan National.
Okay.
And it's huge. It's got hockey rinks, indoor football fields. I've never seen a place like it. It's a beautiful place. So it went really, really well. But, that's something I want to keep a little smaller, more local, and give some of these kids to go experience some of the things we're doing. And we're adding some new things. We're having Nike, a person that's going to be traveling with us to speak to all the kids about emotional health and education. So we're transitioning into just basketball games.
Right.
So kind of like we do a tour of St. Jude for all the teams here that come in. So we want to do some more emotional health things. There's a lot of pressures on these kids today with social media. And so staying on point in school has become a big focus for us.
Talking with Travis Haddock with the now Kevin Durant National Hoop Fest Series. All right, so you're wearing the Montverde sweatshirt here today, which is you're representing that, which I said after being at your event is one of the best high school basketball teams I've ever seen in my life. Like that team is ridiculously good. But at your event this year, also coming out of that was, you mentioned the win by Briarcrest over IMG, in which they held IMG to, what was it, 3 second-half points, 4 second-half points, whatever it was. That Monday after that, I was talking about it on the show, and there were some people that said, because we were talking about whether shot clock needs to be, Briarcrest did what they needed to do to win the basketball game. They had John Harrington on, and he said, listen, this is what we had to do to win the basketball game. That's his job. So people said, well, that could hurt the efforts of getting teams like IMG to come to these events if they're going to have to deal with this. And I said, listen, Travis has good enough relationships. I don't think it's going to matter. But have you, after that game, was there any issue at all from IMG with the way that game was played?
Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, everybody wants the shot clock, but you can't shoot 1 for 18 in the second half or 28% from the free throw line or 2 for 16 from 3 and expect to win the game. And they know that. It's just one of those things that happen. It just, as the game progressed and the crowd's getting louder and louder, and Briarcrest really, they weren't holding the ball for 3 or 4 minutes.
No, it was, they were using some time.
They pushed the bigs out and back door. So it was brilliant, to be honest with you. It's the most exciting 32-22 game in the history of basketball.
Well, it was so fun, too, because obviously you're at Briarcrest, so they had some of their fans there. But everybody loves the underdog in that situation. So as it got to that fourth quarter and they had a chance to win, the whole building became, well, let's see this big upset of Briarcrest knocking off this highly ranked team. And the atmosphere was fantastic.
It was great. And IMG made no excuses, no complaints.
Well, and that's good.
That was talking points for fans.
Yeah.
And valid ones, to be honest with you. But, when you have 7 or 8 top 100 players, and then you've got a team with a 5-star point guard, that 5-star point guard that you can't take the ball from. So it was the great equalizer, and it gave them a chance to win the game. And again, they weren't holding the ball for 3 or 4 minutes. They were trying to score. It's just hard when they had 2 7-footers on the floor and everybody else is 6'8" and 6'7". So you just have to strategically pick your shots.
Travis, as well as this has become the now Kevin Durant National Hoop Fest and the series that includes 4 stops in 2020, 2021, I would think that there's a lot of really good basketball programs that you have to turn down, because I would imagine a lot of coaches are calling you and want to get involved. But I also want to ask you, is there a wish list of schools that you haven't had that you would like to get one day?
We haven't had La Lumiere yet. La Lumiere's a really good program in northern Indiana. They won the national championship a few years ago. And I'm friends with their coach. It's just kind of timing we've never put in. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to get them in a couple this year. But be honest with you, we've had
all the big names.
Pretty much had them all.
And Oak Hill's coming back next year to Memphis for the first time in 4 or 5 years. So
Man, it seems like they're there every year.
It does, right? But
yes.
4 or 5, and Montverde is every few years. They rotate around, and IMG was their first time this year. They'd played in other cities, but their first experience in Memphis, and they loved it. They loved the St. Jude experience. They love the atmosphere. So I think they'll be back next year.
Are there any states that make it harder with their restrictions as far as travel, that you'd love to get this school here in this state, but it's very hard with the rules they have?
So Minnesota, Wisconsin, Ohio, Indiana, Georgia can be a challenge. I sometimes stay away from those.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's not worth the headache.
Yeah.
When you've got your main schools with the top players, and and a school in one of these states comes around every few years, they got its top player, I usually shy away from it because it's a pain dealing with their state associations.
Gotcha.
The what's the kid from Montverde that's going to Oklahoma State?
Cade Cunningham.
Okay. And folks, just remember that name. That kid, I've never I was blown away by how good he was. There's a lot of those other great players that played in the event this year, and you watch them, they're really good, but it's okay, there's other you see other guys, that guy's really good too. He just looks like he is a level that nobody else is on.
He would be a lottery pick right now. He could play in the NBA right now.
There's no doubt with his size and what he does, because he does everything, and he's big and he's got an NBA body. I think he should be a top 5 pick right now if he was given the opportunity.
So if the rule changed back, he would be going probably right to the NBA.
Absolutely. He's and an awesome kid too. There was no entourage. He was talking to any media. Anybody wanted to talk to him, he would talk to them.
What do you guys think? Oh, I know what Eli thinks. What do you think about Kennedy Chandler at the next level?
He's awesome. He can play. And he, if you watch, I'm friends with his dad. I kind of watch on Facebook. This kid's working out all the time. He works so hard. His drive is what's going to take him where he wants to go.
He could play.
He's special. There's no question about it. We're going to take them on a couple trips this year too.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's what I was wondering. So when you go to the other cities, how many Memphis teams have played in your other stops?
It's been a couple. Yeah. A lot of times when we're doing our events, it is in the middle of district season.
Okay.
So, they have to move games to be able to travel, so that can be a bit of a challenge.
When you make the decision, I know a lot goes into it, but is it more how good the team is overall, or if the team has a superstar? For example, I'm not following high school basketball as close as I should be. I don't know how good Wooddale is, but I assume they're really good because they have Jonathan Lawson. Are you looking at the team as a whole overall, or are you looking at this team has a star, and that kid is a stud? That's a team I'd like to bring somewhere.
Both. It's both.
Okay.
So if somebody's got a superstar,
well, generally they're going to be good.
They're going to be good. Just
you would think they carry him for but will they win a state title? I don't know. I don't know how good they are. They might have a bunch of other players on that team that are really good too. But that kid's a stud. I'd love to watch him play against the top tier competition.
Well, they played Montverde, right? Who did they play in your thing? No, they played
IMG. That was Briarcrest.
No,
Oh, you're talking about Woodville played Montverde.
Yeah, but yeah,
And
Woodville,
Jonathan
that's right.
Lawson played great.
Yeah.
No, they're a good team.
But that's something
He's
you would
awesome.
consider, as you say, possibly bringing to another city where you have your event.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, he's a 30-point machine.
Well, he's had
and he's a triple-double machine.
He could be the best out of all of them.
He had a
Out of all
quadruple
the
double.
Lawsons.
He's had a quadruple double and a 50-point triple double. That's pretty impressive
He's special.
stuff.
Like he's special.
Isn't it crazy to just get better and better as they go down the line here?
It's unbelievable. They can play ball now. I mean, they could just have mom coach and have the rest of them start the team, and they just beat just about anybody.
I mean, Chandler's at Oregon,
right?
And he's doing very well in his freshman year. And of course, we know what Diedrich did and KJ. So outstanding. So man, we couldn't be any happier for you.
Thank you.
I mean, it's a great event. I know it's a lot of hard work, and I know you're probably back at it already. But the relationship with Kevin Durant, how's he been, by the way, since he's not on the court with the injury, recovering, rehabbing? Have you been able to talk to him or just his people?
Absolutely. Talked to him the other day. He's a fantastic guy. Very laid back. You know, he's funny. He's a normal guy. He's not a prima donna.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's very accessible to fans, and you know that's kind of important as well.
Sure.
So it'll be nice to see him at these events.
Have you asked
when
him
he's
what's
not
in his
playing.
backpack?
I have not asked him what's in the
Okay,
backpack.
all right. That could end the relationship.
Here's one other question that I've gotten. Seems like every year after year thing is that everybody always says as he looked at getting a bigger venue, because inevitably it gets filled up on Saturday. This year we had the line out the door; people couldn't get in. But it's hard. Like it's very difficult, I'm sure, to try and find the best venue because you're not going to find one that fits everybody.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, I mean,
because people are everywhere and the noise level. You have that atmosphere. You want the atmosphere.
Yeah,
right.
More so than a few more people. You know, and anybody can get a ticket. We sold them online, so if you get them in advance, it's not an issue at all. But you know, we tried our best to let everybody in.
Yeah,
believe me, we did.
Well, no, there's no doubt, and I know that you deal with some things with the city schools versus the others that make it a little.
Look, I'd love to be at a white station every year. It's be honest with you, it's just more simple dealing with private schools.
You've had to jump through a few hoops.
I've had to jump through a few hoops. Yeah, you shouldn't have to do that.
It is not easy to do what you're doing, and you're doing it 3-4 times a year.
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
Your hair's not all gray, which is nice, but
it's just gone.
It's me too, and Eli as well. But you're a lot more gray than the last time I saw you. But Travis, we're so happy for you, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Travis Haddock and the National Hoop Fest, now the Kevin Durant National Hoop Fest, and will begin next December in Seattle. Thank you, man. Thanks for joining us.
Can I just say hi to my daughter, Bella, who's at home sick, listening to us right now?
Hi, Bella.
Hey, all right. Thank you.
Get better. We need to take a timeout. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Campbell Clinic now offers daytime walk-in care, and you don't need an appointment. If you've got any kind of urgent break, sprain, strain, you can walk into any of their 5 convenient locations Monday through Friday from 8 until 4. There's no long wait you have to put up with the ER, and those doctors are really good, but they're not orthopedists. They're not world-renowned orthopedists who have come up with different procedures and written the manuals for them that are used everywhere in the world, and I'm not kidding you. And you can now see those doctors who treat the Tigers, the Grizzlies, the Redbirds. You can see them today without an appointment. And I'm talking Collierville, Germantown, South Haven, downtown at the Med Center, or even the Campbell Clinic Spine Center in Cordova. Now, if you've got something pressing, you got to go to work, and you can bear the pain until the evening, there's Campbell Clinic After Hours. That's Monday through Thursday from 5 to 8 in Germantown, South Haven, even Saturday morning in Germantown. If you're injured, don't wait. Visit Campbell Clinic Walk-In Care or Campbell Clinic After Hours.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. Their newly renovated drive-in repair shop is open to the public. Whether it'll be your everyday driver, farm equipment, fleet vehicle, or heavy-duty truck, their ASE-certified technicians will get you back on the road. The on-site dyno is ready to run all the necessary diagnostic testing. From preventative maintenance to complete overhauls, Mid-South Power can handle it all. Stop in today at 3288 Mill Branch Road or call 901-396-0710 and online at mid-southpower.com.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Tuesday chicken fried steak. Yum! Fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $7.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $9.99. And veggie plate, $8.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry. Let's go. You drive, I'll buy.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's.
Every Wednesday, world-famous Elmo and the Shades. No cover charge, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Neil's Bar and Grill.
Where the fat man rocks.
The doors never close 24 hours a day at Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 12 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town. Grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, $2. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Gold Strike Casino and Resort in Tunica. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
We thank Travis Haddock for joining us on the program. Matt Dillon will join us at noon for the Tiger Basketball Report. We got 10 in a row coming up as well.
Travis just, hanging out with Kevin Durant. Good life he leads. He's kind of like a Travis to high school basketball is a lot like Harold Grader. They work for like a month of the year and then they take 11 months off. Like he compacts all these 4 events into like 1 month so that he can have the other 11 months off. It's a great deal.
Good strategy.
It's an absolutely unbelievable deal, and you get Kevin Durant on board for doing that. It's amazing how that works. But I mentioned we have some tickets for the Tigers game tomorrow against USF. And going to give you an opportunity to win those right now. I've got a 4-pack of tickets. These are lower bowl seats for tomorrow's game. 3 o'clock tomorrow.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock game tomorrow over at FedEx Forum. 4-pack of tickets. Let's do caller number. Let's make Gabe work a little bit. Oh, don't. I mean, I know you're an offensive lineman, but you can count. Caller number 8. Caller number 8.
Can't count that high.
360-8255. I know they never went on 8. You never went on 8. But 360-8255. First Bank phone line. Caller number 8. 4 tickets for tomorrow's Tigers game against USF.
Second hour of the program is brought to you every day by the Gold Strike Casino Resort and the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill, the South's premier sports entertainment venue located inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. And I know they had a wild Sunday with Super Bowl 54 and joining us now is our friend Troy Douglas from the Gold Strike. Troy, you guys recovered from the weekend?
Yes, it took a little while. It was very busy around here. Good afternoon, or I guess good morning still to you, Greg.
Good morning to you, Troy. Yeah, I know there was a lot of planning that went into it, and hopefully it went as well as you guys thought it would. Was it packed? Because I know you had to open up a second room.
Yeah, it was. It was very busy. Moneyline was. People started showing up around 3 o'clock, and they stayed and were there, kind of held down their seats and stayed till the game was over. And we had a few other areas on property also where we were showing the game. And so there was good opportunity to see it, and all the areas were pretty well full, and, a lot of bets from the Super Bowl. We had wrote about almost 70,000 tickets for it. So
70,000 tickets. You have any idea like what type of handle? How much was bet?
I think it was a little over 6 million here.
Wow.
So
6 million just at the Gold Strike.
Yep, and that was both of those were up significantly from last year. So a lot of interest. It turned out to be a great game, and inside the money line, there was a lot of energy. You had people rooting for both teams. So there was a lot of back and forth, especially there in the fourth quarter. Chiefs made their comeback, and so it was a lot of fun.
Well, glad it went well, and That's a lot. $6 million. Of course, $5 million came from John Harden alone, so that's interesting. But I know the next thing on the calendar, and has nothing to do with sports, but it is very, very important, and that's, of course, Valentine's Day. And you got some events coming up at the Chicago Steakhouse. You got some a brunch opportunity as well, and that will be next weekend. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, a nice holiday weekend as well. So Valentine's fits nicely there on Friday. There are some specials in the steakhouse, a Valentine's Day dinner menu that's being offered, and featuring surf and turf and a few other specialties here that the chef does. And but then Sunday morning, we're also doing a rare brunch in the steakhouse, which typically does not occur. And we've got a little live music there, and really just kind of keeping a good, romantic weekend going for those that come in. And with President's Day Monday, we know many will be off, and
that's right.
So it's a holiday 3-day weekend. There's a blackjack tournament as well going on Sunday and Monday, and so very busy weekend. Looking forward to it, and should have a lot of people here, and those brunches will be very nice for anyone interested.
$49 per person for the brunch, and it includes bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So it is a tremendous deal. Reservations are strongly recommended. You can call 662-357-1111. And as we talked about with the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill, reservations aren't necessary, but if you want to go ahead and you planned on going down to not only make some bets, but to play in the Top Golf Swing Suite, probably a reservation would work out and will be helpful, because if you go down there, you certainly don't want to get shut out.
Yeah, that's true, especially with Top Golf. It seems to have some pretty steady action on weekends, and so it is advisable to go ahead and call ahead, reserve your spot, and make sure when you do make the trip down, that you'll be able to have fun for an hour or two and really enjoy that, because it is unique to the area.
There is always something happening at the Gold Strike Casino Resort. And again, next weekend, with it being a holiday weekend and Valentine's Day, take advantage of that. But certainly, if you have not seen the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill, what are you waiting for? It's the South's premier sports entertainment venue. It's located inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. Head on down and enjoy yourself at the Gold Strike. As always, Troy, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Greg. Take care.
You too. $8 million at the Gold Strike alone.
$6 million, he said.
$6 million. Like I said, $6 million at the Gold Strike alone. Wow.
That's, again, why these states that don't have the gambling probably should get on board.
I would think, though, that, and have you heard anything about from Vegas as far as how it went for them? Because I would think that most people were leaning toward the Chiefs, and the Chiefs ended up covering. That they maybe got hit pretty bad.
The Chiefs were bad for them. I don't know. I don't think it was terrible. It wasn't like it was a killer, but I think that slightly more of the money was on the Chiefs.
I gotta imagine with all the props, they ended up making their money.
Yeah, I mean, it was not I'm sure there may have been a little house loss, but there was. I don't think it was by any means a really bad one for them.
Grizzlies tonight in action. They'll play in Philadelphia against the Sixers, and we'll see what Sixers team shows up. At home, they're normally good. On the road, they have been terrible. There's some internal squabbles going on. It doesn't seem to be working like they thought it would between Embiid and Simmons. The Grizzlies come in having won at Dallas on Wednesday, and they did so without Jay Crowder and Solomon Hill. And now you find out that they're traded. Hopefully, their minds are in the right spots, and I think they will be. I think the relationship that they had with those two veteran players was certainly strong, Eli. But I think the way they reacted to each other on social media, the two, Solomon Hill and Jay Crowder, and the players, I saw John Morant and Dylan Brooks and Jaren Jackson Jr. all react to these guys, Tyus Jones. I think they're going to be fine moving on, and we'll see how quickly. Obviously, Justice Winslow will not be playing. He's still dealing with the back injury. Have all these guys taken the physicals? Like, is Gorgie Jang available tonight to play? Is Jordan Bell available to play tonight?
I don't know what their status is as far as that, as far as tonight goes. I have no idea. I've not seen anything on that.
No, and I can't imagine, even if they were, that they would actually see the playing floor. Then Sunday, the Grizzlies at the Wizards before they return home Wednesday to take on the Portland Trailblazers. Only 4 home games in the month of February. And one other NBA note, maybe you saw this. The Lakers, according to reports, plan to work out J.R. Smith next week. And probably with a shirt on.
Looking for shooters.
They also are the favorites, according to reports, to sign Darren Collison. There was a picture or photo of Jeannie Buss with Darren Collison at the Lakers game. Was it last night? It was last night, I believe.
Yes.
So they want to try to get Darren Collison as well. Also, Joakim Noah is somebody that teams around the league are looking at. Even the possibility that Houston, although they have decided to go completely small, could end up bringing in a guy like that. Somebody will probably end up signing the veteran center who says he's now healthy after not being ready to go earlier in the season. Matt Dillon is ready to go. He's in the on-deck circle. We'll talk Tigers with the Tiger Basketball Report coming up to open up Hour 3, and then 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk. That's AM 560, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM.
I almost never go to Central Barbecue without running into somebody I know.
That could be because you only eat at Central Barbecue.
It's because Central Barbecue is where Memphians go to get barbecue and has consistently been voted the most popular barbecue restaurant among locals.
Actually, that's really saying something.
I know. Memphis is the nation's capital of barbecue. With all the choices, people who live here go to Central Barbecue.
They do get their share of tourists.
Sure, because Central Barbecue has been mentioned on TV and in tons of national publications. You know why?
Because of the great food?
Because those TV shows and magazines look for the place where the locals go, and that, my friend, is Central Barbecue.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials, like Monday, baked chicken, Tuesday, chicken fried steak. Yum! Fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday, Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $7.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $9.99. And veggie plate, $8.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Yeah, you're making me hungry. Let's go. You drive, I'll buy.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's.
Every Wednesday, world-famous Elmo and the Shades. No cover charge, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Neil's Bar and Grill.
Where the fat man rocks.
And paid for by Protect My Car. Attention vehicle owners with an auto warranty about to expire or with no coverage at all. No matter the mileage on your vehicle, Protect My Car can provide a unique extended service plan to help you avoid costly repair bills and save you thousands. To celebrate 15 years in business, we further reduced our rates, and we're adding free roadside assistance, free towing, and free car rental at no cost to all new service plans. Call 800-981-7508 for your free quote. Again, that's 800-981-7508.
Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and here at Sports 56, we want to make you a hero. That's why all day from 10 to 6 on Monday the 10th, we will be at Dinstall's on Pleasant View. And when you come in, you get a 14% discount on your purchase of $14 or more, all for Valentine's Day. Remember all the sweethearts in your life? They love Dinstall's chocolate. We've got giveaways too. A 1-pound heart-shaped box of Dinstall's hand-packed chocolates will be given away. So will chocolate-covered strawberries. They're in time for Valentine's Day. So be a hero. Head to any of the locations, Laurelwood, Germantown, Collierville, even downtown now, located at Main Street and Peabody Place, and get the best chocolates, the best strawberries, the best candies, the signature of Memphis, Dinstall's. And don't forget, from 10 to 6 on Pleasant View, we'll be there for Valentine's Day.
The Vergas family, legendary Memphis restaurateurs, starting with Mr. Charlie and continuing today with his grandchildren.
Brett, it just dawned on me the other day that while Memphis is celebrating its bicentennial, the Rendezvous has been here well over one-third of Memphis's existence. But we're not a place to rest on our laurels or reputation. We're always trying to add new things to make our customers' experience more enjoyable. Friday lunches have always been special because we give away our red beans and rice. But we are now adding a sausage sandwich.
John, we first got a taste of it at the golf tournament.
It's the same sausage we serve on our cheese and sausage plate, but it will be served lengthwise on the bun with beans and slaw on the side. We've also partnered with a company called Devillet out of Dyersburg to introduce a new sweet glazed mustard with Rendezvous seasoning in it. It will really go great with a sandwich. I still recommend adding slaw. As I've mentioned before, my grandfather had a hot dog stand on Beale Street in 1916, and that's the same slaw he used. So here we are now 103 years later, and we've come full circle using his slaw on our hot dogs. Hope to see you this Friday at the Rendezvous.
In the alley in downtown Memphis.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Some people call me the Space Cowboy.
Welcome back, everybody. 12:02 the time. Final hour for us today here on Sports 56 Middays. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Gabe Kuhn. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how FedEx can help you start, grow, and efficiently manage your business. FedEx delivers to 99% of the world's GDP and has the world's largest cargo airline with over 650 airplanes. It's FedEx. We can't thank them enough for being a part of our program each and every day. Before we bring on Matt Dillon, there was one thing I wanted to pass along. At Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin has hired Michigan analyst Devin Bush Sr. as his director of recruiting, and Monty Kiffin, his father, as player personnel analyst.
Okay.
What is he, 80 years old now, Monty Kiffin? Getting a nice little paycheck from Ole Miss.
Monty seems like a guy who would really be into the analytics. Should be able to really break things down for them using computers and things. I bet it'll be really good.
He looks fast.
Yeah, I bet
he looks big.
Monty, what do you think of our player personnel? Good. Okay, thanks, Monty. Appreciate it. Here's your paycheck.
Time now for the Tiger Basketball Report.
It's time to talk Tiger hoops. It's the Tiger Basketball Report with Matt Dillon of the Tiger Radio Network. The Tiger Basketball Report is brought to you by Neil's Bar and Grill, Binswanger Glass, Getaway Sports Bar, Big River Distilling Company, and Central Barbecue. Here are Greg, Eli, and Matt.
Matt Dillon from the Tigers Radio Network joins us every Friday during the hoop season to talk Tigers basketball. You can follow him on Twitter at Big Blue Matt. We were joking there about Monty Kiffin and old school. Then you have a guy like Cody Toppert, who was on with us earlier in the show. You talk about new school, the analytics, the numbers he was throwing at us about this team, but it really all stems back. Well, there's a lot of different categories, but the one negative category continues to be the turnovers. And the last couple of games, the Tigers, as bad as they've been, have been able to overcome the turnovers, Matt, to win games, but you're playing with fire. If they can get this thing to 10 turnovers a game, there's more possessions to have, there's more chances to score points and win some of these big games coming up.
No question about it. The big thing, though, is after today you're going out on the road, and when you turn the ball over 17, 18, 20 times on the road, really hard to make that up. It's just a different situation indeed. Yeah, they were fortunate the other night. Maybe this team is at the level they're going to be for the rest of the year. Some teams have that label, or I guess, or that handle put on them with ability that they're going to turn it over. Whatever you do, still 16, 17, 18 times a game. And sometimes you can live with that if you score enough points. Now, at home, much easier. And I think I mentioned to you last week that 70 points is a real break-even point for teams. If they get 70 and above, you're going to win most of the time.
They finally got above the 70 mark the other night.
They finally did. And early in the year, they would get up in the 80s, so it wasn't a problem. As the conference play started and the number of points started going down a little bit, there is when the turnovers really jumped back into the picture and made it very hard to do it. But, is there a perfect number? No. You try to play fast, and the faster you play, obviously you're going to turn the ball over more. It's just something that happens, Greg and Eli. I mean, that's just the way they play. But the problem, if you're going to do that, you got to score enough points to offset it. And I think maybe, hopefully, with the changes in the lineup and some guys starting to play a little bit better shooting the basketball, that won't be a problem here on out. But when you go to Cincinnati, just say for an example, on this next trip you go to Cincinnati, you turn over 20, 21 times. It's going to be very difficult to win that basketball game.
That's the thing that is, because when we talk about their 341st in the nation, that's turnover percentage. So that's not your raw number. You can't just say, well, they play fast, so they're going to turn it over more because there's more possessions. No, this is the percentage of your possession. So that's how often you're turning over based on how fast you play. That's a really bad number.
It really is. And the problem with it, I guess, going further in that is you get into habits, and especially at the end of games, you get into the habit of doing that. I mean, it's going to really bite you, though, because, 4 or 5 minutes when the end of a game, boy, that's intense. People are coming back trying to, get close to you, and they guard you different or whatever, and you start turning the ball over in that situation. Certainly, if they're coming back and they're coming around the bend, you're looking over your shoulder, and they're in full gallop. Hey, you just tighten up a little bit. It's a little bit different situation turning something over in the first half, obviously. And you remember that, 6 minutes against SMU, they turn the ball over and didn't score. Well, they get lapped. Well, the other night, that wasn't the situation. And I thought Temple, I will say this, Aaron McKee, I mean, I really don't know the guy. I mean, he seems like he's, nice guy.
He's no Fran Dunphy.
No, he's not Fran Dunphy. But 6-man year in the NBA. He had a nice career in the NBA. You know, everything else went to the finals one time. But I don't know. I couldn't figure out what they were running offensively the other night. They just kind of put 4 guys in the perimeter and just threw a couple of passes, and then, let's –
and jack a 3.
They jack up a 3. And we'll try to go inside, and you got one kid that, he'd post up and didn't have any moves. I don't know what you do there, but I know he's catching some flack in Philadelphia. I was reading a recount of the game in the Philadelphia paper, and boy, some of the fans are already getting –
really?
Oh, yeah, they're just – pleased right now and saying, he's worse than Dunphy and all this kind of stuff. I'm thinking, this guy's there not even a year, and already the Philadelphia fans, which is not a surprise in some ways, are already on his case. So, but Temple, Greg and Eli is a funny team to me because they had 10 guys back from that team last year that went to the NCAA tournament. And they haven't improved. There's 10 guys back from that team. Think about that.
He must have completely overhauled the offensive and defensive
he has to, yeah.
Right?
He's not playing the same way. He's not. And I don't know if the guys haven't grasped it or don't want to grasp it or whatever, but they did not look in tune together to me playing the other night. And I think that certainly helped a little bit as well. I was surprised at the margin. I thought the game might be a little bit closer than it turned out to be. But they really, they got 6-0 lead, and the Tigers came back and tied it. And I didn't think after that
I agree.
They were going to lose.
Yeah,
I just think
you never felt like
good
it.
Shape, right? Absolutely.
According to Greg, though, they could have hired Coach K, and Greg would say, "Well, he's no Fran Dunphy, so really, what's he supposed
like
to do?"
Fran too much.
I mean, he thinks Fran Dunphy invented the game of basketball, so there's not much that Aaron McKee can do to live up to the standards of Fran Dunphy. We got a text message, and it's from Raider Corey. Says, "I checked Lunardi's bracketology. The Tigers aren't in. But I thought the committee takes serious injuries into their thought process when evaluating and selecting teams. You lose arguably the best player in the country. Now you've lost your third best player on your team. Also, I love Cody Toppert's passion and enthusiasm on the bench."
Wiseman wasn't an injury.
Lunardi has them. Yes, they're his first out of his bracketology. Now, Jerry Palm did not update his today. He's waiting until tomorrow when they do the unveiling of the top 16 that they will do for the first time. But as Jerry has talked about this a lot, they don't take into account injuries with selecting teams. You still have to earn your way into the tournament. Injuries could play a part in the determination of a seed.
Right.
But you can't just say, well, like we went 15 and 13, but our 3 best guys were hurt, so you got to give us in. Like we would have been better. You still are what you are on the floor and earn your bid to the NCAA tournament.
And Wiseman was not an injury. The guy left the team. They're not going to look there when they get to Selection Sunday and go, well, the anticipation was this team could be a Final Four team, and they lost Wiseman. We're going to put them in the tournament even if they're not worthy. No, that's not going to happen. They're not going to look at North Carolina and go, well, Cole Anthony didn't play most of the season. They're not doing that. Now, could there be some discussion with a team that's really close on the bubble? Maybe some discussion. But I think, like Eli said, you gotta earn your way in, and more than likely the seeding will be determined by an injury, especially if a player's coming back for the NCAA tournament that you didn't have for a few games, that dropped your seeding maybe one spot. Maybe they put him back up to that spot. That's what it is.
Yeah, I do think it's a seeding, no question about that. And it might be at the end, you're right, 1 or 2 guys might be talked about. Hey, Joe Smith wasn't there or whatever. We think he probably would have won this game, and this game. And the human element has to be in it, obviously. But there's so much change with this quadrant 1 and 2 and all this stuff. I mean, this win is a quadrant 1 one time, and then 2 months later it's not, and so it goes backwards and forwards. It's so hard to figure out. Is there a great computer program? I don't know. What's the right computer program to figure all this out to me? I mean,
there isn't any.
There isn't one. I mean, and I think that's part of the problem. Everybody thinks, oh, well, I put it in a computer, everything's going to be fine. Well, it's not. And who puts that program together to determine if it's the right program? It's still the human element is involved in the thing.
But they're going to look at that net. That's what they have now. They have the net. They're going to look at those numbers, but they're also hopefully going to use their intelligence.
Well, you think so, but some of the decisions they made in the past, you wonder about it sometimes.
Right. And this year's interesting because you have what most people believe if not a weak field, an unpredictable field. Because maybe Baylor standing out above the rest.
Right now,
a couple of teams, but
and the Zags a little bit.
Yeah, but who knows? I mean, right now you put a gun to my head and say pick 4 for the Final Four. I mean, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
It may be wide open this year than any year previously. We've seen some crazy years, but I just don't think there's many great teams. You're talking about great teams. I mean, there's good teams out there. Great to me is a whole different category.
I'm with you.
And I don't see that this year.
And I don't even know. And I don't even know if we have. I don't think we do have anything clear cut in the American. Last night was turmoil. Wichita State lost at home to Cincinnati. Tulsa got crushed by UConn. Memphis has to play at Cincinnati, at Connecticut coming up. But you're looking at 8-2 for Cincinnati, 8-2 for Houston, 7-2 for Tulsa, 6-3 for the Tigers, 6-3 for SMU, and Wichita State's down 6th at 5-4. Top 4 get the first round bye in the conference tournament, which is big. So it's still there for the taking for the Tigers.
Well, it is, and a lot of other teams too.
Absolutely.
You got SMU and the Marca. Who thought they would be there this part of the year?
Right.
Are they going to be able to go the distance? Who knows? Are they a finisher, or are they going to plod and then get past everybody else? You just don't know. Wichita State is, to me, not a surprise. When we played them, they're a good team. I just didn't think there's not a lot of speed on that team. It seems like they have problems like scoring at times to me, and they're not a bad team, but they've lost a couple of games at home now, which is a shocker. I think Cincinnati's like beating them 3 times in a row up there. Yeah, no pun intended, though.
Who do you think the best team is? And okay, if you feel awkward, I'll take Memphis out of the equation, and you probably don't think that anyway, but you haven't played Houston yet. The Tigers haven't. Who do you think the best team is in the conference?
Oh, boy,
I mean, Tulsa beat Memphis by 40, but does anybody really believe they're the best?
No, I don't think so.
I don't.
When you look at the way it is right now, Cincinnati's probably playing better than anybody, but are they the best team in the league?
And Memphis beat them?
Right. I didn't think so when I saw them, but Cumberland's gotten healthy, and they've started, I think, to get together with a new coach up there. I think guys are maybe getting on the right page and learning the system or whatever. Now, this next road trip, guys, I'm telling you, this could be the decider for some chances.
Make or break?
You got 2, tough games on the road after this. You got to take care of business first against USF, which you should, obviously. But you go on the road back-to-back to Cincinnati and UConn, that is not going to be easy. You had trouble with both of them the first time around. Now, Cincinnati was a double digit, but it was trouble a little bit. Connecticut came in here, played a 7-point game. They were in it till basically the end. Obviously, they're playing better. They go and beat Tulsa, which that kind of surprised me a little bit. But you wondered when Tulsa was going to come down to the level a little bit. And it's not a team that, what, 8th in the preseason.
Yeah, they beat them by 16.
Beat them bad at home. You don't beat them up there that bad.
This whole year in college basketball, like that's the thing. Like you just have to assume that these teams, somebody's going to come back down to earth. I mean, listen, LSU lost to Vanderbilt. Like enough said. An undefeated team in the SEC lost to a team who hadn't won in like 27 games in the SEC by 10 points. Like there's no rhyme or reason to some of these things that happen in college basketball these days.
I saw that score. I had to look at it twice. I said, that can't be right.
It's insane. There's no way in a million years that team that outcome should happen. But it's college basketball.
Shows you how emotion ends it.
Could you imagine a person though? They're like, I'm gonna gamble on a game for the very first time. Ooh, I got this undefeated SEC team and a winless SEC team, as Eli said, hasn't won in 27 games. Let me go ahead and take LSU. That's going to be money in my pocket. Boom. And then never know.
So Tulsa, while they kept winning games, like they just weren't that good. Like you knew somebody at some like they're going to have a game where somebody's going to get them because they're not that good. I mean, there's a reason they lost some of those non-conference games that they lost.
I agree.
With that said, we know Jeffries is out. I thought they looked, other than the turnovers, which is a big part of it, I thought they looked pretty good, consistent, balanced scoring, and good rebounding in the game against Temple. Moving forward, is there enough firepower? What has to happen? You had that combination of Quinones and Boogie going for, 39? I don't know if you can get that. If you got that every game, you win every game.
Oh, yeah,
but
absolutely.
What do you think has to happen specifically, seriously, with this team and these players to do what we need them to do, and that's get to the tournament?
Well, one thing, Lance Thomas has to be consistent, and he's played pretty well since he's moved into the starting role. I think that's important as well. You need to get some kind of offense out of either Tyler Harris or Damian Ball a little bit because you just can't count on Boogie every game to do what he did the other night. I'm not saying he can, but to count on that, I mean, shooting from three and doing all that kind of stuff like that, I mean, you're going to have nights where it doesn't go. So you're going to need another scorer in there. Tyler hasn't gotten a lot of minutes recently, and he's got some firepower. I think teams have defensed him maybe a little bit different, too. They know, there's certain spots he wants to get to. They putting bigger players on him, but bothered him at times. So I think that's important. Certainly the turnovers, if you can cut them down a little bit, is going to be important. I do think that rebounding power has really helped them. They've been a pretty good rebounding team all year, and that's one thing I think in the American that maybe separates them from some of the other teams. You 6 or 7, 8 plus on the rebound margin. That really adds up, especially on second chance points. Now the Tigers the other night didn't get a lot against Temple, which is kind of a surprise because they were just the opposite. They're a poor rebounding team, but they kind of worked on it the other night to not allow, I think, some offensive rebounds. Achua struggled shooting the ball the other night, really for the first time in a while. He really struggled, 3 of 10 from the field, but he did other things which helped him. He went to the free throw line enough, and he hit 6 out of 10, which is a bonus for him. It's kind of an adventure with him. He's got good form. You just don't know. One game he'll be 5 of 7, and then he'll be 2 of 8. You don't really know.
It's really weird to me because he can look like literally go to the line for 2 shots, and the first one looks as pure as can be. Like you're like, wow, that's like and then the next one he'll throw up an air ball by 3 feet, and you're like, is that the same guy that just shot that first free throw?
He's Mr. 1 for 2.
Yeah, it is. It's funny you guys mentioned that because my high school coach would tell us it's repetition. Do the same things every time you get up to the line, same form. And a lot of guys don't do it. One shot looks great. The next one, like, it's going this way. It's so weird to me. I don't understand why free throw shooting is so hard for some guys because it's free points. Nobody's bothering you. You're out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 15-footer basically with nobody guarding you. But
too much time to think about it. It's not just a natural athletic reaction. It's like I'm thinking about this.
I think that's the point, Eli, and I really agree with you. But the mechanics are not the same, though. That's the thing.
Yep.
You think the repetition in practice by yourself, and a lot of people don't shoot free throws. They don't have time because of limitations now. You think you have the same routine all the time.
That's the thing. First, a lot of guys don't practice them because it's not cool. Like it's not. That's not getting you on. That's not getting you a clip on YouTube. But also, and then when they do practice them, like in practice when they're forced to, like you got to go shoot 100 free throws. It's a going through the motions, and it's not a You're not actually doing your routine. It's just, all right, I'm going to get these 100 shots up because I got to get these 100 shots up, and then I'm going to move along with my day. I mean, at that point, you got to do the routine you're going to do in the game every single time.
Absolutely. Another thing you're asking what they need to do, I think their defense, too, is something else we need to mention. Their second country in field goal percentage defense, which that really helps because they'll guard you now. That's one thing about this team. They played pretty tough defense the complete year. They've been hard to score on, and that's a definite plus because this league likes to get up and down and score points, and they've been able to do that.
Well, Cody threw out the numbers. Didn't he say also around the rim they're like 1 or 2, some kind of rim number?
They have to be close because they alter a lot of shots, and not necessarily block them, and they do blocks a lot, but they alter shots.
Yeah, but think about this. Who do they not have? And they haven't had all year except for 3 games. Wiseman.
Well, would he be able to do? If he's there, the other guy's numbers won't be there. I mean, they'll still have the same numbers.
That's my point. But Wiseman still. Well, what it's saying to me is that Precious Achiuwa is damn good, and they're getting some now from Dandridge, and they're getting some from Lance Thomas. But when you lose Wiseman, Precious Achiuwa, who again, don't call him a 5. Cody Toppers, don't call him a 5. He is altering shots and blocking shots, and that's why I think. He is moving up the ranks as far as the draft is concerned because he's doing it at both ends. He's not shooting the ball as well lately, as you said. He's still scoring points. He's still getting to the free throw line. But, man, defensively, you lose a Wiseman. The thought was, well, you're losing the rim protector. But they are protecting the rim, and Precious is a big reason why.
Well, absolutely. Lance Thomas, too. He is blocked.
Right,
He's a long guy.
He didn't play all year.
Isaiah Maurice is even blocked. Now, people say, no, you look down the sheet, he's got some blocks this year. Yeah. I mean, think about this. He was listed actually in the leaders for a number of weeks in block shots. I mean, it's surprising. Dandridge now is starting to get something. The other night, I thought he really made some nice moves.
Oh, he did, yes, absolutely.
For him, probably getting healthier maybe as we go along here. He's getting tuned to playing. His weight looks, down a little bit as well. And that spin move he made in the lane and went in and scored, I thought, man, that was one of the nicest moves he's made this year.
I'm with you.
The Tiger Basketball Report brought to you by Central Barbecue, Big River Distilling Company, Neil's Bar and Grill, Ben Swanger Glass, and Getaway Sports Bar. A couple of texts here. The First Bank text line says, I understand with Precious on free throws. He's a beast down low. He is tired at free throws. Well, yeah, and fatigue also will affect free throw shooting throughout a game. I mean, guys get tired. If you've been out there, you go to line, it's easy to get a little lazy with your legs or whatever and just kind of and not go through. Again, it's going through it's kind of going through the motions because you're tired.
No question. He gets beat on a lot, too. Yeah. There's no doubt. That's why he likes playing out away from the basket a little bit. A couple of times we've had him on the postgame show. He's talked about it. I really got beat up a little bit tonight, and that's something, you got to get used to as a young guy. But you think about it, you go to the next level, as physical as the NBA is, man, this is nothing compared to how you do it over 80-something games in a regular season. So,
somebody else says, did you see the worst flop in NCAA history in the Tigers game? I actually didn't see it. I saw the flop warning issued, but I didn't see the actual flop.
Yeah, I saw it. I mean, I knew it was a flop. But the thing about it is the Tigers had a fast break going, and they blew the whistle. Wait till you scored and didn't give the warning after that. You're supposed to do the next dead ball or whatever.
I did not. I never saw what the kid actually did. I just saw the flop warning issued, but I never saw
it was
how
4
bad
or
the
5
flop
feet
was.
away, and it was like he was trying to con me into getting a call, and that's what Sermon said, who called it the other night. But it was an obvious flop, and you almost have to laugh sometimes. It's so comical, some of the flops that they do. But you'll see some flopping going on. USF does it a little bit. We'll see them come into town, of course, on Saturday. And they're a funny team, guys. They changed their starting lineup last time. I don't know what reason. I don't know if the guys were in a doghouse or what. Ketch started. Marichevich both started on the front line, and Durr and Brown went to the bench. They came in and played a few minutes. I don't know if they did something or whatever. Now the notes show them back in the starting lineup, so I guess they'll be back usual like they were.
Discipline.
I thought Brian Gregory's decision making down the stretch in the first game against Memphis was awful.
Yeah, he's had a problem closing games, and the first game I thought if Rideau had not gotten in foul trouble, that would have been difficult. They had to take him out of the game. They didn't have another ball handler, and the Tigers really hurt them at the end. That kid was a little bit overmatched, unfortunately, for him, a young player, and they got after him. He caught the ball up a couple of times, and they didn't run their offense very smoothly. Obviously, they had to go to Collins. I mean, he was a guy, that really kept him in the game. He's a fine player.
He's a good player.
He really is a good player.
Well, they're 331st in turnovers, so if you like turnovers, tomorrow just might be the game for
maybe
you.
your plate,
may
get you the meal, right?
If you are a big fan of turnovers, tomorrow just might be the best thing you've ever seen in your life.
But this is the kind of game you got to watch because you're going for the next two on the road. You're leaving.
Thinking ahead,
game, right?
Yeah.
You can't think ahead. You cannot drop a home game against a team rated where they are. That's a disastrous thing to happen, and then, for the most part, the Tigers have been really good about that this year.
But here's the thing, Matt. B.B. Walden's not walking through that door tomorrow.
No, absolutely not. Reggie Cohn, all those guys.
Altron Jackson's not walking through the door.
A litany of guys aren't walking through that
Chucky
door.
Chucky Atkins isn't walking through that door. Thank you, Matt. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Matt Dillon, Tiger Basketball Report. You can follow him on Twitter at Big Blue Matt. Catch him every Friday during the Tigers basketball season.
Unfortunately, is it the Sun Girls? Is that what they call their dance?
Sun Drops, I think it is.
Is it the Sun Drops?
Something like that.
Unfortunately, they won't be walking through that door tomorrow.
You're exactly right. Unfortunately, they will not be on the trip tomorrow.
I used to like when they brought them to the conference tournament. Let me tell you that much. The Tiger Basketball Report brought to you by Big River Distilling Company, Neil's Bar and Grill, Getaway Sports Bar, Ben Swinger Glass, and Central Barbecue.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, yeah.
We'll take a break. 10 in a row is next. You can jump on the phone lines at 360-8255, 360-8255. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
I'm Howard Robertson. And I'm Larry Robbins. Telling you R&R on sports. We've been on SiriusXM and stations across America. We're coming to Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. beginning Saturday, February 8th. It's R&R on sports. Don't you miss us.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1 and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app, and at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
The doors never close 24 hours a day at Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 12 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town, grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, $2. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
I'm here interviewing Macaulay Williams, CEO of Big River Distilling Company here in Memphis. Macaulay, tell us about the uniqueness of your Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye.
Well, Eli, both my products, Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye, are produced right here in Memphis, Tennessee. The Blue Note Bourbon is a premium small batch blend, minimum age of 9 years, served at 93 proof. The Riverset Rye is a straight rye whiskey, also at 93 proof. It's a great spicy herbaceous tone. It's great in cocktails.
Where can folks find the Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye?
Both products can be found at any local liquor store here in Memphis and also at most bars and restaurants. Next time you're around the town, be sure to ask your bartender for a glass of Blue Note or Riverset.
And is there anywhere else that folks can get more information about your products?
Yeah, absolutely. At our website, BlueNoteBourbon.com or RiversetRye.com. Also, be sure to follow us on social media at Blue Note Bourbon or at Riverset Rye.
All right, well, that sounds great. I can't wait to try a bottle.
Yeah, Eli, I really appreciate the support, and hopefully you and your listeners can pick up a bottle today.
One thing I really admire about Central Barbecue is their commitment to quality.
Then why do they let you do their commercials?
I'm talking about their food. Everything is prepared with devotion to taking the time and effort to create perfect barbecue.
Oh, I know. That's exactly why I was wondering why.
They're not kidding with that slow-smoked Memphis-style slogan. They smoke their pork for 14 hours. Do they have to? They do if they want to be the best barbecue in Memphis, and they are.
And yet they let you just throw together.
There's nothing better than Central Barbecue because they care.
Except apparently about their radio ads.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. Remember the controversy with, what's her name? Jessica Mendoza with ESPN / the New York Mets. A lot of controversy with her. Well, she has signed a multi-year extension with ESPN, will no longer continue in her role as baseball operations advisor to the Mets. There's a conflict of interest. She's 39 years of age. She'll become the first woman to serve as a solo analyst on national baseball telecasts when she does weeknight games for ESPN this season. But the deal with the Mets just wasn't going to work out.
Well, it should have never been done, but yes. And then they also, so she's not going to be on Sunday Night Baseball. They're moving her to weekday games, and yes, she resigned from the Mets, which is a smart decision on her part. Still can't believe her comments on the cheating, but yes, she at least now is not going to be with the Mets.
Yeah, it's nice to have two major jobs like that and decide, okay, I'll get rid of this one, I'll stay with the other one while she's mired in the midst of controversy. Time now for 10 in a row.
Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 in a row.
All right, we need you to jump on the phone lines right now, 360-8255, as we play 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. Eli, what are the listeners playing for?
We will give the winner of 10 in a row today a $25 gift certificate to East Coast Wings and Grill, as well as a $25 to Sunrise Memphis. So a couple of different fantastic places for you to go enjoy some great food. Sunrise and East Coast Wings going to the winner.
All right. Going back to Super Bowl 54, here's the question. Universities that were represented by at least one Kansas City Chief on their 53-man Super Bowl 54 roster. So I'll give you the name of a school. If there was a player from that school that was on the roster for the Chiefs, Super Bowl Sunday, it's a yes. If not, it's a no. I'll give you an example. If I say the University of Memphis, the answer is no. There were no Chiefs on the 53-man roster. It's that simple.
There were a lot of Chiefs on the 53-man roster, actually 53 of them.
No Tigers on the Chiefs roster. Thank you.
First up is Jack. Hello, Jack.
Hey, guys.
Okay, Jack. Universities represented by at least one Kansas City Chief on their 53-man Super Bowl 54 roster. Cincinnati.
Yes.
Oregon.
No.
Tennessee.
Yes.
Navy.
No.
Penn State.
Yes.
Clemson.
Yes.
Ole Miss.
Yes.
360-8255. Heck of a run there to start things off. Not too
that was
shabby.
a very, very good run. Reggie is next. Hello, Reggie.
Hey, what's up?
All right, Reggie. List 2. Florida.
Yes.
Mississippi State.
No.
Ooh.
Next.
360-8255. Playing for $25 from East Coast Wings and Grill. $25 as well from Sunrise Memphis. Ty is next. Hey, Ty.
Ty.
Hey.
Cincinnati.
Yes.
Oregon.
Yes.
360-8255 is the number. Universities represented by at least one Kansas City Chief on their 53-man Super Bowl 54 roster.
Jimmy's next. Hello, Jimmy.
Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Florida.
Okay, this is you first. Is this number first or second?
Second.
Second list. Florida.
Yes.
Mississippi State.
Yes.
USC.
No.
Michigan.
Yes.
Texas A&M.
No.
360-8255 is the number. About halfway through both lists.
Bill is next. Hello, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing well. All right, list 1. Cincinnati.
Yes.
Oregon.
No.
Tennessee.
Yes.
Navy.
No.
Penn State.
Yes.
Clemson.
Yes.
Ole Miss.
No.
Middle Tennessee State.
No.
360-8255 is the number.
Josh is next. Hey, Josh.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hi, Josh.
Good, man.
Okay. Florida.
Yes.
Mississippi State.
Yes.
USC.
Yes.
Next.
360-8255. The first bank phone line to play 10 in a row. $25 to East Coast Wings and Grill. $25 to Sunrise. Going to the winner of 10 in a row today. Again, 360-8255. Rodney is next. Hey, Rodney.
Hey, Rodney.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Not a whole lot. Let's go to Cincinnati.
Yes.
Oregon.
No.
Tennessee.
Yes.
Navy.
No.
Penn State.
Yes.
Clemson.
Yes.
Ole Miss.
No.
Middle Tennessee State.
Yes.
Georgia.
No.
Oh. Man, it's feeling good. Feeling good about Rodney there.
Next, we go to Steve. Hey, Steve.
Steve?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Florida.
Yes.
Mississippi State.
Yes.
USC.
Yes.
360-8255. Open lines right now. Open lines. 360-8255. Question again. Universities represented by at least one Kansas City Chief on their 53-man Super Bowl 54 roster. Our first caller in this thing got through 7 on list 1, and we've only gone one more since then.
360-8255 is the phone number to play. Russ is next. Hey, Russ.
Hi, Russ.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. All right, here we go. Cincinnati.
No.
Oh, Russ. Not good.
Terrence
Russ was
is
a little
next.
rusty.
Hello, Terrence.
Hey, Terrence.
Hey, how's it going?
Going well. Okay, Florida.
Yes.
Mississippi State.
Yes.
USC.
No.
Michigan.
Yes.
Texas A&M.
Yes.
South Florida.
No.
360-8255. Universities represented by at least one Kansas City Chief on their 53-man Super Bowl 54 roster.
Danny's next. Hello, Danny.
Hello, Danny.
Hey, guys. How are y'all today?
Doing well, thank you. Cincinnati.
Yes.
Oregon.
No.
Tennessee.
Yes.
Navy.
No.
Penn State.
Yes.
Clemson.
No.
Oh.
Next, we go to Carl. Hey, Carl.
Hey, Carl.
Hey, guy.
I just noticed that if you're watching us, you can probably see my list here as I'm throwing it right in front of the camera.
You'd have to have really good eyes.
Florida.
Yes.
Mississippi State.
Yes.
USC.
No.
Michigan.
Yes.
Texas A&M.
Yes.
South Florida.
No.
360-8255. Next.
Next is Wayne. Hello, Wayne.
Wayne.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
Let's
man.
do it.
Cincinnati.
Yes.
Oregon.
No.
Tennessee.
Yes.
Navy.
No.
Penn State.
Yes.
Clemson.
Yes.
Ole Miss.
No.
Middle Tennessee State.
Yes.
Georgia.
Yes.
UCLA.
No.
There we go. Wayne.
Congratulations, Wayne. You
All
are
right.
a winner. Hold on. You got yourself $25 from East Coast Wings and Grill, $25 from Sunrise coming your way.
Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne a winner today.
Ole Miss has, I think, 2 guys on the Chiefs, one on injured reserve, one on the practice squad.
Yeah,
Is
but
Breland Speaks on the Chiefs or is he on the 49ers?
I don't know.
And DJ Jones.
He's on the Chiefs.
And DJ Jones
He
is-
was on the injured reserve, though.
And DJ Jones is on the Chiefs too in injured reserve?
DJ Jones.
Or is he 49ers?
He's Niners.
Okay. I knew one. I thought they were both on the same team. I know I was looking. I talked to DJ Jones on media night, but I couldn't remember which team that was. And I looked for Breland Speaks for the entire media night, never found him. So Breland did not speak to me. That's all I know. I don't even know if he was there, but I literally could not find Breland Speaks to save my life on media night.
And that's why I had to be very specific to make it the 53-man roster. Couple we didn't get to, Eli Savoie. List 2. We got down to South Florida. A couple of people got that wrong, so the answer should be
yes.
Absolutely. We missed on it a couple of times. Arkansas.
Arkansas was not on the Chiefs.
Correct. Florida State.
Yes.
That is correct, sir. Georgia Tech.
I'll say yes.
It is a yes. And then Auburn.
I'll just go with the odds and say yes.
That is a no. Auburn is a no.
Middle Tennessee had guys on both teams. Middle Tennessee was represented on
Did
both
they
teams.
really?
Yeah, Middle Tennessee had I think there was at least 3 guys between the 2 rosters for Middle Tennessee, maybe even more than that. Like Middle Tennessee was well represented in that. Now I don't know how much they played, but I don't on the full rosters, including practice squad and everything. I know there was at least 3 Middle Tennessee guys. There might have been a 4th Middle Tennessee guy between the 2 of them.
Well, and by the way, with Mississippi State, Chris Jones, one of their studs on the defensive line, and Colquitt. Is it Britton Colquitt? Which Colquitt is it? The Chiefs punter.
This is
one of the
Dustin, right?
Yeah, Dustin Colquitt.
He was the only, as he was saying that on media night, he was the only male Colquitt without a Super Bowl ring until now. He finally, because he said he used to be, it used to be Britton was Dustin's brother, but then once Britton got the Super Bowl ring, Dustin became Britton's brother. That's what I said.
The people missing Cincinnati. That's a tough one with Travis Kelce. That should be obvious.
Yeah,
right.
Should be.
With the Colquitts, they're the equivalent to who was the family of kickers? The Gonzaleses or who else we got with the kickers? Zendejases. The Zendejases. The Colquitts are the equivalent.
Who's the one? Grammaticus.
Grammaticus too. Yeah, we got a lot of families that were kickers.
Martine and who was the other
Bill.
Grammatic? Was it Bill?
It was.
Which one tore his ACL celebrating?
I want to say it was Bill that tore his ACL. But
in celebrating, right?
Yeah, I think it was Bill.
Kicked the field goal.
I think it was Bill.
And he
I was
jumped
thinking it
up.
was Martine.
Don't take my word fully on that.
I was thinking it was Martine that did that. I don't know. I can't. But I remember one of them. Yes, I know one of them did that, but I can't remember which one it was.
Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084. That's 901-438-5084. Or go online to newroofmemphis.com. They offer financing, many different plans and options to choose from, including a 6, 12, or 18-month same as cash option. They'll work with your insurance company or out of pocket. They do residential and commercial roofing. So business owners and property managers, if you have a leak or any other roofing issue, you call Brandon today. They will come out and do a free roof inspection. Licensed, bonded, and insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a $100 referral fee for the purchase of a new roof. So refer somebody to Pinnacle. They end up using Pinnacle, you're going to get $100 for that referral. They do all types of work around the home, carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters, install shingles, put up fencing and siding, rotten wood repair. Again, locally owned and operated. Brandon, born and bred in Bartlett, attended Bolton High School, ran cross country at Bolton, and then got into this business. Started his own company a number of years ago and has been thriving because of people like you. So, again, if you need a new roof, call Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. Call Brandon today. Tell them I sent you, 901-438-5084, and online at newroofmemphis.com. Want to remind everybody, next week, 3 remotes. People come up to me a lot, and they say, when's the next time you're going to be out there on the road with the remote? We got 3 next week. We're going to be at Dinstall's Fine Candies, great chocolates on Monday, with Valentine's Day coming up next week. On Thursday, we're going to be at Top Gun in Bartlett. Is that considered Bartlett, Top Gun? Right there on the border, kind of?
Yeah, I think so. But
we've been there a number of times now. Hopefully you'll come out and see us. And then Friday, we'll be down in DeSoto County. We'll be in Olive Branch at Frontier Western Store.
It was Bill Grammatica. You were correct. Congratulations, Gabe.
You're a winner on Name Your Grammatica.
What do I win?
You know your Grammaticas.
This is midday. Oh, go ahead.
I always thought it was funny, like Martine Grammatica. You expect it to be like something, like a different name, like some
Bill.
More ethnic
Bill.
sounding, right?
Bob. It's like Bob.
I am Martine. This is my brother Bill.
What?
Right? That makes sense.
This is my brother
What's your
Bill.
last name?
And
Grammatica.
my other brother Bill. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallow and Stats. Weekday afternoons from 3 till 6. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
The Vargas family, legendary Memphis restaurateur, starting with Mr. Charlie and continuing today with his grandchildren.
Brett, it just dawned on me the other day that while Memphis is celebrating its bicentennial, the Rendezvous has been here well over 1/3 of Memphis's existence. But we're not a place to rest on our laurels or reputation. We're always trying to add new things to make our customers' experience more enjoyable. Friday lunches have always been special because we give away our red beans and rice. But we are now adding a sausage sandwich.
John, we first got a taste of it at the golf tournament.
It's the same sausage we serve on our our cheese and sausage plate, but it will be served lengthwise on a bun with beans and slaw on the side. We've also partnered with a company called Devillet out of Dyersburg to introduce a new sweet glazed mustard with rendezvous seasoning in it. It will really go great with a sandwich. I still recommend adding slaw. As I've mentioned before, my grandfather had a hot dog stand on Beale Street in 1916, and that's the same slaw he used. So here we are now 103 years later, and we've come full circle using his slaw on our hot dogs. Hope to see you this Friday at the Rendezvous.
In the Alley in downtown Memphis.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Tuesday chicken fried steak. Yum! Fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $7.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $9.99. And veggie plate, $8.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry. Let's go. You drive, I'll buy.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's.
Every Wednesday, world-famous Elmo and the Shades. No cover charge, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Neil's Bar and Grill.
Where the fat man rocks.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farm All, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag Equipment can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, these tractors can tackle every chore on your to-do list. Call 662-890-3141 or stop in today to find a Case IH Farm All that's right for you.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. Final segment for us today and this week here on Sports 56 Middays. Taylor Jenkins, the coach of the Grizzlies, meeting the media at shoot-around, asked about the incoming players. He said that they are going through physicals today and tomorrow, so they will not be available tonight in Philly. Memphis will have 11 available on the roster for tonight's game against the 76ers. That's what I figured. I mean, they have... Now, with Justice Winslow, he goes through his physical. They know he already has a back issue. It's only supposedly a back bruise, but it has kept him out since December. What would happen if it was more serious? Would the trade be null and void?
Theoretically, it could, yeah.
Could you imagine that with Iguodala? Buddy, go back home. You're not playing. You're not playing at all. Now, I everything we've read, it's not as serious as what you would think a back injury would be, but it's still serious enough, and we'll see what the doctors say. But I would imagine that he passes the physical, and all these players that are joining the team, which will not include, I don't believe, again, Dion Waiters, will join the Grizzlies in time for Sunday's game at Washington.
East Coast Wings and Grill gave away a $25 gift card to the winner of 10 in a row. You can go on by there if you want to watch the Grizzlies tonight, if you want to watch the Tigers game tomorrow. If you're not going to the game, all of the games are always on. The XFL action will be on there this weekend as well. If you want to watch that, they've always got all of the games going on the many TVs at East Coast Wings and Grill. And while you're there, you can enjoy great food like the 60 different flavors of wings and Their wings, you can get the bone-in or boneless, but their wings are the big, meaty wings. They're not little tiny ones. Of course, Monday is wing day as well, where you get 65-cent boneless wings, 75-cent bone-in wings. But all the different flavors to choose from, and all of them available in 7 different heat indexes. So all kinds of different decisions to make, but they're all delicious. Plus, you've got plenty of other food options, from their burgers to their flatbreads and other sandwiches and salads. It's great stuff at East Coast Wings and Grill. All fresh, never frozen stuff. Great selection of draft beers, other beers, full bar. They've got it all for you in a great atmosphere, whether to bring the family out or to go with the guys to watch the game. You can do it at East Coast Wings and Grill, just off Highway 64, next to Lowe's in Bartlett. It's right there on Kate Hyde Boulevard, which is between Lowe's and Walmart, just off Highway 64 in Bartlett. Got a text here on the First Bank text line, says, some people say Wiseman won't be the number 1 pick. Unless whoever gets number 1 pick has a star at the 5, they are an idiot if they don't take Wiseman. He's a freak.
I'm in agreement with that person. And the last mock I saw, and I forget who had it, but they did have I talked about it the other day when you were off. Wiseman, which was yesterday. Wiseman was number 1 on their mock. The thing is out of sight, out of mind, but it shouldn't be. Robert Edwards, the kid from Georgia, his numbers.
Anthony Edwards.
Where did Robert Edwards from? Robert Edwards was an old running back at Georgia. Anthony Edwards, his numbers are not that good. I know he's a talent. I understand he's going to be a high lottery pick, but his numbers are not that good. Then you have Ball coming back from Australia, and his season was cut short. R.J. Hampton also returning. I think James Wiseman is such a freak, like that texter said. Could be Golden State. Could you imagine Golden State? They get Wiseman, Draymond Green, Steph's back, Clay's back, the moves they've made, and all of a sudden Golden State, even though they're no Durant, are back and one of the powers in the West.
I think Wiseman's fantastic, and he is a freak to some. But you got to understand, a lot of these NBA teams, like they want shooters like that. They want athletes and shooters. That's what they're looking for.
Just ask Houston.
I mean, so you look.
Daryl Morey,
Anthony Edwards is that. Ball is that. Cole Anthony. Like a lot of these don't care. Like 7-1, we don't care. We don't need. Can you shoot the 3? That's what we're looking for. Can you shoot the 3? And then if you can, we'll work from there.
Yeah. From the NFL, this is from Yahoo Sports. They said that the Cowboys. You may have seen this story since you're Cowboys. That the Cowboys were close to a $33 million per season deal with Dak Prescott, and then he asked for more.
I'm telling you, it's at that point, you just say, thanks, Dak. It's been nice knowing you.
Well, they're going to franchise the guy, right? There's no question they're going to franchise, right?
If they can't get a deal done, they will franchise him for at least 1 year.
For 1 year. But when that year's done, next year, what is Dak going to make? What should Dak make?
Well, I'm not the right person to ask on that because
Gabe, what should Dak Prescott be making?
In my opinion, a little less than $30 million.
Okay.
25 is fair.
And he's turned down 33, according to the report.
Honestly, between 25 and 30 is fair to me. Any higher than that, I mean, he's going to have to do a lot more. Truthfully.
To me, what they should do is they franchise him, draft a quarterback, and let him walk after next season. Time now for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
PGA golfer Justin Thomas is auctioning off the wedges he used to honor NBA star Kobe Bryant during the Waste Management Phoenix Open last week, with the proceeds going to the Mamba on 3 fund. The money being raised will benefit the families of the 7 other victims of the tragic crash. The wedges Thomas used last week were stamped with the phrases 81 points, Kobe Bean Bryant, Black Mamba, and Mamba mentality. Thomas also played the 16th hole at the Phoenix Open wearing Bryant's number 33 jersey from Lower Merion High School, which is located in Ardmore, Pennsylvania. Quote, he had such an impact on me, and he was such a person that I looked up to and tried to kind of have my mental approach like that, Thomas said of Bryant at the tournament. I felt like it was very fitting. There's only one tournament all year where you can put a jersey on and hit a shot. Just the timing worked out to be here, so it was a no-brainer for me.
All right. It's week number 1 of the XFL. Let's do it. Let's make some picks. Gabe, you ready to go? You got your XFL knowledge?
Yeah, I got them all.
All right, here we go.
XFL the Battlehawks.
All right.
St. Louis
Here we
Battlehawks
go.
for the win.
First game tomorrow, 1 o'clock Central Time. Seattle at D.C. D.C. 7.5-point favorite. Greg, who you got?
Well, I'm taking D.C., although we had the player personnel director of Seattle on yesterday, Tony Softly, but I'm going to go with D.C.
I'm going to take D.C. as well.
I'm taking Seattle plus the points.
Ooh, going across country in week 1.
Are we going odds or are we going straight up? Here, are we going with
the line.
Okay, with the line. All right.
L.A. at Houston, 4 o'clock tomorrow. Houston, 6-point favorite. Gabe, who you got?
Let's go Houston on this one.
Ooh, Gabe's going Houston. I'm going L.A. I'm going opposite of Gabe again.
Bob Stoops, right? Coach, general manager.
No, he's Dallas, right?
Oh, he's Dallas.
Right? Yes, because they're the favorite.
Oh, okay. So L.A. on the road, getting 6. Yeah, give me L.A.
Houston is a guild
Matt's
ride,
laughing at us as we're talking like we know what we're talking about.
All right, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Tampa Bay, 2.5-point favorite on the road. We got a road favorite here. Tampa Bay, 2.5 at New York.
I'm going Guardians in this one. I'm going Guardians here.
Is that
2.5.
Is that
number.
New York? Is New York the Guardians? Okay,
Yeah, New York. Yeah,
I don't know the nicknames. Tampa Bay's the Vipers.
Yes.
I think yes. Seattle Dragons, DC Defenders.
St. Louis Battlehawks.
Greg, who you got?
I'm going New York.
Ooh, you guys both taking the dog. I'm taking Tampa, the road favorite here. I'm opposite of Gabe on all 3 of these here. And the final game.
Do you have any reasoning behind your picks, by the way?
No, just not at all. 4 o'clock Sunday, St. Louis at Dallas. Dallas currently a 9.5-point favorite.
9.5 points? Why? Because of Bob Stoops, the coach, like he's playing?
The thing is, Landry Jones was on the injury report. So we don't even know for sure about Landry Jones. But Dallas, a 9.5-point favorite. I'm going to assume Jones plays. I'm taking Dallas big here over the Battlehawks and Jordan Ta'amu.
I'm really gonna have to go Dallas. We learn from history about these expansion leagues. The team with the best coach, Steve Spurrier in the AAF,
and the best quarterback. If Landry Jones plays, I think he's probably the best quarterback.
Well, I mean, we haven't seen him play.
You're
in a while,
selling
so
Jordan Ta'amu a little bit short, gentlemen. It's always about the second week in these new leagues when they figure out what these teams can do the first week. I'm getting 9.5. I'm taking the Battlehawks.
All right. So Gabe has Seattle, Houston, New York, Dallas. Greg has DC, LA, New York, St. Louis. I've got DC, LA, Tampa, Dallas.
XFL, baby.
I will tell you this. I will be placing at least one bet.
Will you?
I'm not telling you which one it is, but I'm going to, because I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm going to place one bet.
Are you actually going to do a little homework before you make the bet?
I believe my bet is going to be on LA, but I don't know that yet.
Okay. But no homework involved.
I'm going to do some homework. I'm going to put money on. I'm going to do some homework. I've done a little bit. I think it's going to be one of the Saturday games, either LA or DC. I think I am actually going to bet.
He lives a boring life. He needs to bet on this XFL. That'll be fun, I think. Thanks to Joe Mullinax, Cody Topper, Travis Haddock, and Matt Dillon for joining us on the program today.
Last year, you were very excited this time about the new football league.
Well, I had a job with the new football league.
Last year, you were telling everybody how great the new football league was going to be.
No, I spoke truthfully, and I said, we'll see what happens. I'm hoping it'll be great. Look, if I had a dog in the fight, I'd be praising the XFL a little bit more. But I'm honest. With Tony Softly, I said I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually looking forward to it. Not so much betting on it, but looking forward to actually watching the product. Thanks to you folks for listening. We always appreciate it. Your phone calls, your texts, just your patronage to our show and all the shows here on Sports 56. Monday, starting at 10 o'clock, we'll be at Dinstall's on Pleasant View Road. Come on by and see us. For Gabe Kuhn and Eli Savoie, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great weekend, everybody.
All the whiskey in Lynchburg, Tennessee just couldn't hit the spot. I got a $100 bill, friend, you keep your pills, cause it's all go in the pot.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
The doors never close 24 hours a day at Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 12 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town. Grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, $2. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
I'm here interviewing Macaulay Williams, CEO of Big River Distilling Company here in Memphis. Macaulay, tell us about the uniqueness of your Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye.
Well, Eli, both my products, Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye, are produced right here in Memphis, Tennessee. The Blue Note Bourbon is a premium small batch blend, minimum age of 9 years, served at 93 proof. The Riverset Rye is a straight rye whiskey, also at 93 proof. It's a great spicy, herbaceous tone. It's great in cocktails.
Where can folks find the Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye?
Both products can be found at any local liquor store here in Memphis and also at most bars and restaurants. Next time you're around the town, be sure to ask your bartender for a glass of Blue Note or Riverset.
And is there anywhere else that folks can get more information about your products?
Yeah, absolutely. At our website, BlueNoteBourbon.com or RiversetRye.com. Also, be sure to follow us on social media at Blue Note Bourbon or at Riverset Rye.
All right, well, that sounds great. I can't wait to try a bottle.
Yeah, Eli, I really appreciate the support, and hopefully you and your listeners can pick up a bottle today.
Farmers Insurance knows that there's a not-so-subtle difference between the sound of a car hitting your rear bumper and the sound of a clown car hitting your rear bumper.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Sorry about that.
We call that a three-ring fender bender, and we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent.
They know a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
We are